Tell you what, who will be a happy bunny. It's our very own Sunderland legend Mickey Gray, who isn't at Hill Dickinson to watch his beloved Sunderland reach the fourth round. He is up at St James's Park, and we're heading straight over to St James's Park to hand over to Mickey and Adam Summerton at the beginning of Newcastle Bournemouth.
Thank you, Max. Welcome to St James's Park. It's perfect timing because we're about to get underway here. Newcastle in their black and white striped shirts, black shorts and black socks are defending the Gallagate end away to our right-hand side. Bournemouth are in their away strip, which is the blue shirts with the black stripes, blue shorts and blue socks. And immediately the first shot of the game comes in from the edge of the penalty area, and it's driven goalwards by Alex Scott, and it's wide of the right-hand post of Aaron Ramsdale. I'm not too sure Mickey is that happy about Sunderland making it round to round 4 of the FA Cup, are you, Mickey? You wanted them to have a little rest and concentrate on the league form.
Well, I want us to try and finish as high up as we possibly can in the table, Adam, I have to say. But look, a win's a win. We still haven't lost back-to-back games in the Premier League or Cup competition. So as long as that momentum keeps going, I don't mind. But yeah, on to the fourth round.
Word not filtered yet, I think, around St James's Park to say that their bitter rivals have booked their place in round 4. All the focus here on whether Newcastle can avoid a 49th exit at round 3 of this competition. Of course, last time round it was Brighton who saw them off, a game that Mickey and I were here for, in fact. And on that day it looked for so long as though Newcastle were going to secure a place in the quarter-finals. However, Brighton coming up, and Danny Welbeck in particular with a late winner that day. But both these sides, Newcastle and Bournemouth, enter at round 3. We'll run you through the two teams in a moment for you, but the action is fast as Bournemouth come towards the edge of the penalty area again, and Sandro Tonali, one of the 4 survivors from that enthralling midweek Premier League victory over Leeds, gets that ball clear from the edge of the penalty area. So Eddie Howe has made a few changes, 7 in total. Voltemada is claiming a foul midway inside his own half, and in fact the free kick has gone Bournemouth's way on halfway. So Ramsdale's in goal today. Trippier's back, he captains the side alongside Chow and Botman, the only 2 fit centre halves Newcastle United have right now. Livramento is at left full back today. Willock, Tonali and Ramsey are the central midfield 3. Wissa playing wide on the right hand side. Voltemada and Barnes out wide on this left hand side for Newcastle United. So 7 changes in total from the side that beat Leeds in midweek. Bournemouth have made 6 changes from the team that finally got back to winning ways for the first time in 12 in that victory over Spurs on Wednesday night. Petrovic stays in goal. Smith, Hill, Diakite and Soler are in at the back, so 3 changes in total in the back line from Iraola. It's Scott and Cook in an unchanged central midfield with Adley, Krupi and Brooks behind Unal, who leads the line. Of course, the first game for them without Antoine Semenyo, who has started this afternoon for Manchester City at home against Exeter. There's a foul there as Brooks goes down on this right-hand side. Referee doesn't give it. Instead, Newcastle will bring it clear from the edge of their own penalty area. Cook gets it to the edge of the box. Right-footed shot bounces in front of the goalkeeper from Enis Unal and is gathered quite comfortably by Ramsdale away to our right-hand side. There's certainly no let-up in the pace here, Mickey Gray.
Well, I have to say, Iraola talked about this fast 10-minute start from Newcastle at the beginning of a game.
And here they are again down the right-hand side. Clipped ball in towards the edge of that 6-yard area, and it's only half cleared away as far as Voltemada. It was Willock's ball in that was decent. Comes out to Barnes on this left-hand side, and Barnes then just pushing the ball to the right where it's helped on its way once more by Ramsey. Ramsey to the right edge of the penalty area. Ramsey's on a charge here, gets his shot away. That's blocked by Diakite. Comes out to Tonali, who blasts one from 25 yards, but the foul had already been committed on that occasion. Adley on that far side, and it's going to be a free kick for Bournemouth at the edge of their own penalty area. Just looking at the shape here, we've often talked about the fact that Eddie Howe very rarely changes shape. It almost looks like he's put Voltemade in a bit of a 10 here at times. Wissa maybe, and maybe Willock playing out wide on the right.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there, Adam. We was talking about that fast start from Newcastle, and it's been Bournemouth who've actually started the game very, very brightly. But you're right to point out that system from Newcastle. I think a lot of people have been actually talking about Voltemade being more of a 10 than an out-and-out striker. It's Johan Wissa who's playing as the 9, and you can see they've packed that midfield areas also.
Oh, here's a chance towards the edge of the penalty area. The shot comes in, and he's driven by Krupi from the edge of the box. He took the ball down nicely, got the shot away. He's the only teenager in the Premier League to score more than one goal this season. He's had a terrific start to the campaign in all competitions. 7 goals to his name. That was on target, but quite comfortable in the end for Ramsdale.
Well, he looks a talent, doesn't he, Krupi? From what I've seen of him so far, certainly knows where the back of the net is. Should he have actually done better, Adam? That was a great chance for Bournemouth.
Lovely little touch there from Willock to take the ball on, but he's just lost possession. It's back with Petrovic in the Bournemouth goal away to our left-hand side. No surprise they've not changed keeper. The keeper on the bench today is Fraser Forster at the age of 37. Emergency 6-month signing for Bournemouth to help them out in the goalkeeping ranks. So it's no surprise that Petrovic keeps his place in the starting 11 for Areola's side. Good work from Krupi that time. Gets the ball back to Soler, who's playing at left-back today for Bournemouth. Out wide on that far side. Just the 5th appearance of the campaign for Soler. And the Argentinian feeds it back to Petrovic, and his first kick is straight into the arms of his manager on this near touchline, and it will be Newcastle who pick up possession once more. Botman, of course, came back in at half-time against Leeds, and with that unfortunate injury to Fabian Schär, it means it is Chow and Botman, the only 2 fit centre-halves for Newcastle United right now. Lascelles still missing. Emil Kraft, of course, can play there too, but he's not around. Dan Burn is back on the grass, but not yet integrating in team play. It's a problem, particularly with that League Cup semi-final first leg against Man City coming on Tuesday night here at St James's Park, where at the moment Newcastle are in terrific form. But it's Bournemouth who've made the bright start here, although that's a really good tackle in the middle of the park by Voltemade that time. Edge of the box, Willock just trying to work it forward. It's flicked on. Voltemade helps on his way. Wissa! Good save, Petrovic. Wissa from about 14 yards out, picked his spot, was curling it into the top corner, and that's a terrific stop from Petrovic to concede the corner.
Well, both sides, the turnover of the football has been excellent in the game so far. It's been a really bright start to the game. And as that ball just fell to Nick Voltemade there, I'm thinking a confident centre forward. Does he play it with his right foot? It's clever in the end, the way he plays in Johan Wissa. He tries to curl it round Petrovic, nearly gets a spot on. Very good save from the goalkeeper. Great start to this football match.
Wissa has started 2 prior to today and scored in both, so looking to keep that good record going. Here's the corner, swung over from Trippier this time. It's half cleared. Livramento finds Tonali. Trippier's made a decent run down the right-hand side. Tonali tries to pick him out, headed clear as far as the edge of the penalty area where Alex Scott is there, and he'll volley it clear into Newcastle territory away to our right-hand side. 7.5 minutes played on Talksport 2 at St James's Park. All Premier League tie in round 3 of the FA Cup, and it remains 0-0 here. Already in the other All Premier League tie that kicked off early today, you just heard Everton dumped out by Sunderland 3-0 on penalties. A terrible set of penalties for David Moyes' side. He'll be furious of that, I'm sure. What can these two provide? Are we heading to a shootout here as well? These two actually took part in the first ever televised FA Cup shootout, and it went Bournemouth's way back in the early 90s. That was after the first replay between them was abandoned due to fog. No sign of fog today. Beautiful blue skies above St James's Park, and it's Bournemouth who will have possession on that left-hand side, probably about 5 or 6 yards outside the Newcastle penalty area.
Had a good opportunity here to get the ball into Newcastle's area as well, over on that left-hand side. Just having a look, and you can see they're packing that area. Just got to try and find that little bit of a half a yard, because as we know of late, Adam, they've got a very good record, Bournemouth, against Newcastle. They
have 6 times they've played them and not been defeated. Just a couple of wins but 4 draws. It's actually gone out for a throw, and Hill launches it into the edge of the penalty area. Voltemade's back there again, this time on defensive duty. It's away by Chow, and then Voltemade midway inside his own half gives it short to Tonali, who was looking for Ramsey, gives the ball away. Krupi combines well with who are now on that left-hand side. Left-footed ball drilled across into the arms of Ramsdale at the edge of his 6-yard area. Really good ball put in that time by Adley, and it was easily gathered by the goalkeeper.
Yeah, very, very good Adley. He's looked lively on the left-hand side. You can see Cook whenever he's trying to play the ball. I don't know what's happened here. A bit of time wasting already in the game, I think, Adam.
I think he's penalised Ramsdale for holding it for more than 8 seconds. So it's going to be a corner on that far side to Bournemouth. Tonali is furious with the referee Thomas Bramall here. Maybe about the warning that was given to Aaron Ramsdale, but it will be a corner for Bournemouth on that far side.
If I'm right, I remember this law. Is it a yellow card for the goalkeeper next time and then a penalty or something, isn't it?
I think it continues for corners, but you can then be booked and obviously end up in a red card if you continue to do it. I'm not sure why Ramsdale felt the need to on this occasion, because he has been punished for it. Jason Tindall in conversation with Rob Jones, the fourth official down below. Here's the corner then for Bournemouth. Into the near post, flicked on that time by Scott, punched away by Ramsdale from under his crossbar, and out for another corner on this right-hand side. That was an excellent delivery and a super flick-on.
Yeah, a wicked ball in from Lewis Cook over on that far left-hand side. He's put it towards the front post, and he just waiting to get that first contact, which Bournemouth did, and you can see there's willing runners there trying to just nod the ball into the back of the net. Ramsdale chasing across his goal to clear his lines.
10 minutes played on Talksport 2. Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0. Another corner this time on the right-hand side. The left foot of Brooks is going to deliver this one. Under the crossbar again, and Ramsdale has to punch it clear. Only comes out as far as the edge of the penalty area, with Adam Smith, the captain for today, for Bournemouth, lifts the ball back inside the penalty area. Nodded down. Here it comes to Scott on the half volley, and he fizzed it over the top of Ramsdale's crossbar away to our right-hand side. Undoubtedly, an excellent start from the visitors.
Very, very good. I've been impressed with him, and I'm just looking down at Iraola now, and he's got the thumbs up to his players. Those corners, they're whipping in on him. It's like they've worked on it, because they maybe look at Ramsdale, think, is he the best at corners? Well, he's got his fist to two and cleared his lines, but you can see the pressure that the away side are putting on Newcastle at the moment. It's an end-to-end game of football, just what we want in the FA Cup third round.
This is our first FA Cup meeting since that round 3 encounter in the early 90s that involved that penalty shootout. It's actually the third encounter they've had all in all. The first again was in round 3. That was back in 72-73, which Newcastle had the better of. So it's one apiece when they go toe-to-toe in the world's greatest cup competition. Here's Voltemade, edge of the penalty area. Onto Barnes down this left-hand side. Onto his right foot. Barnes scoops it in towards Wisser, who gets a flick header onto it, but not enough power to trouble Petrovic this time, who claims that one comfortably inside his 6-yard area.
Just played it a little bit behind Harvey Barnes there, did Voltemade, but he actually dug a cross out, and Visser's done very well. Couldn't really get a lot of pace on his header.
Well, it's given away as they try and play out from the back. Offside flag against Wisser, as Ramsey was thinking of hitting the shot from the edge of the penalty area. Quick note on Harvey Barnes, 9 goals in all competitions so far this season, and those 2 goals against Leeds. I mean, he'd have had a good night on Wednesday night if he could have gone out in Newcastle. I don't think he'd have paid for a drink for quite some time.
Yeah, he's a funny one, Harvey Barnes. When you see him play, he kind of gets his goals in spells, doesn't he? They seem to come all at once, 5 or 6 goals, and then he'll have a dry period for a month and a half. But there's no doubt in his talent. He's very direct. We know that as a wide player, whether he's playing on the left or the right. But he's obviously on the left-hand side this afternoon, and again started the game really brightly.
Well, he hadn't scored in 9 prior to the game against Leeds, so you're absolutely spot on, Mickey. He does go through those moments, that's for sure. Doncaster 0, Southampton 1. Cameron Bragg with an early goal for Southampton in the FA Cup. Burnley lead against Millwall. Ashley Barnes rolling back the years with an FA Cup goal for Burnley. And Max Alleyne, recalled from Watford, where he'd been playing in the Championship on loan, got his first start in the Premier League in midweek for Manchester City. He's got his first goal for the club now as they lead Exeter by 1-0 already this afternoon in the FA Cup. Reminder already today, we mentioned that victory for Sunderland against Everton here on Talksport 2. Well, over on Talksport, the shock of the ages, really. Macclesfield 2, Crystal Palace 1. The holders dumped out in round 3 at a non-league side. And a Phoenix from the Flames side as well, who've come back from extinction and getting the day of their dreams today. And let's hope they get a cracking draw in the fourth round when that draw takes place on Monday evening. A reminder as well, last night we saw Wrexham beat Forest on penalties. We also saw Oxford beat MK Dons in a shootout as well. Craig Short doing a decent job so far, the interim manager at Oxford United. Wigan beat Preston North End, so that was League One beating Championship, of course, and Port Vale getting the better of Fleetwood. John Brady in charge at Port Vale now following the departure of Darren Moore. The other games at lunchtime today saw Leicester beat Cheltenham by 2-0 and Wolves hammer Shrewsbury by 6-1. There are 9 other FA Cup ties taking place at 3 o'clock this afternoon, which we'll keep you abreast of course, before more 5:45 kickoffs and 8 o'clock tonight, 2 of which are live over on Talksport. That's the game between Spurs and Villa, which looks like an absolute cracker at 5:45. And then Charlton, they're in action against Chelsea tonight. I think when that draw was made a few weeks ago, people didn't think too much of it, but now it's got some added consequence and intrigue.
Certainly be a lot of eyes on that game, won't they? With Liam Rosenior obviously walking through the door at Chelsea, wanting to try and get off to a winning start if he possibly can. But this third round's brilliant, Adam. It never lets you down, does it? I mean, that Macclesfield story is just going to go on forever and ever. Absolutely incredible. 3G pitch, a leveller if you like, but you still have to go there and get the job done, and they've done absolutely brilliant.
I think we're almost at the halfway point of our FA Cup coverage. 11 commentaries across the weekend, across the Talksport network. It is the cup competition that we all love. It is the greatest, the FA Cup. And we're already seeing the drama, the thrills and the spills and the cup upsets as well. On that right-hand side, Willock, right by the corner flag, digs a corner across outer. Thought he had nowhere to go there, but he managed to wrap his right foot around it, right by the corner flag. And he was looking for Barnes, but in the end, it's straight into the arms of Petrovic.
He did very well, Joe Willock, to actually get a ball into the area. Because it looked like, he had to wrap his right foot around that cross, whether it took a slight little nick on its way into the area. But you can see Petrovic was just shuffling across to try and get anything on it. And he did in the end. But it's been a lively start to the game, I have to say. Both sides have looked very positive when they get the chance to break forward. And sometimes when you make a lot of changes, as these both teams have done today, you're looking for that little bit of fluidity, that flow in the game. But both teams have settled into it really, really well.
Round 4 against Birmingham last season was the last time Joe Willock actually found the back of the net for Newcastle. A couple of goals in that game at St Andrews. That was a bit of a thriller as well, but they got through that, Newcastle, before succumbing to Brighton here. Edge of the penalty area, work being done this time by Ramsey. Ramsey on the charge, Voltemada, edge of the box, gets it back from Wisser. Voltemada's still going. He's got such tricky feet for a big man. He works the ball really nicely. They've got it clear here, Bournemouth, only as far as Tonali though. That's a nice layoff. Ramsey inside the penalty area again. He tries to force his way through. Right-footed cross comes over. Voltemada goes up to try and win the header, but it's put behind for what will be a corner to Newcastle United on that right-hand side.
Well, the movement's been excellent, Newcastle, around the edge of the 18-yard area. I just wonder, on a couple of occasions, Adam, I think they've actually taken one pass too many. Voltemada had a chance to take a shot on. I think it was Willock on this occasion. Could have got his shot away. That little one more pass, it's just let them down a little bit, but they are starting to put a bit of pressure on this back line of Bournemouth.
Here's Trippier with the corner on the right-hand side for Newcastle United. 17 and a half minutes played. You're listening to Talksport 2. It's still 0-0 in the FA Cup. Comes down to Wisser. Oh, appeals for handball. There was certainly hands in front of the face that time at the edge of the penalty area, but the referee has waved it away. No VAR. It was Alex Scott who put his hands up as Visser hit the ball. It was from close range. Interesting to see what Mickey thinks of that when he gets a look maybe at the replay. What was your initial thought?
Yeah, I think he was very close, wasn't he, when Visser tried and poked that ball past Alex Scott, and I'm still not quite sure, Adam. You're right, I will have to see a replay. Did it come off his face, or was his hands risen high? Did it make contact? But not for me. I don't think you could be given penalties for that.
And that was exactly the view that was offered up by the referee Thomas Bramall. And it's Newcastle who have it, with Ramsey on halfway, another who hasn't scored since the FA Cup last season when he was playing for Villa, of course. That was against Preston North End. He netted a couple that day in a good away win for Aston Villa before his move, of course, to Newcastle United. Here's Botman on halfway, back from injury and back driving forward for Newcastle United. Left-footed ball out to the far side. Willock's waiting for it, takes it on the charge. It takes 2 Bournemouth players out of the defensive equation. He's still going towards the edge of the box. Ramsey's there as well. Here's Tonali, 30 yards out from goal, pushing it to the right hand side to Trippier. Voltemada is waiting. He's dropped deeper. He's forced, turns, tries to get away from Soler on that far side, and he will now bring Botman into it once more at the edge of the centre circle. Seems like a calming influence, Voltemada. Here's Ramsey. Good turn of pace again from Ramsey as he breaks into the box, and it has to be dealt with by James Hill, and it is into touch on this near side for a Livramento throw.
Well, that move all started from great feet from Nick Voltemada. For such a big guy, he does ever so well with his feet. He'll holding on to the ball and shielding players away from him. But again, Jacob Ramsey looks lively, doesn't he? Wants to drive when he gets a chance into that 18-yard area.
Here comes Willock on the charge from the edge of the centre circle. Clips the ball through towards Wissa, too easy. Picked up by Voltemada, the loose ball about 10 yards outside the box, which is the area he seems to be occupying an awful lot of in the opening exchanges of this game. Here's Barnes down the left-hand side, looking to cut on to that favoured right foot of his. Gets a decent angle to find Voltemada, looks for the 1-2, nearly comes to Barnes in the box again, but it will be cleared away, this time on this near side by Brooks, with a little bit of help from Junior Krupi. And up the near touchline he goes, but it will be a throw-in for Newcastle, which is taken quickly by Chow. Real tempo and intensity about Eddie Howe's side so far in the opening exchanges of this game. For 6 times winners, not since 1955. They would desperately love to put that right. Now they've got a taste of trophies following last season's League Cup victory, of course, with that semi-final to come, the first leg of which is live on Talksport on Tuesday night. And, of course, the other semi-final, which sees Arsenal taking on Chelsea. That game will be live on TalkSport on Wednesday night as well. Right now, though, we've had, 19 minutes here, and it remains Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0.
Yeah, they've just turned the tide a little bit in this game, Newcastle, putting a lot of pressure on Bournemouth, albeit the high press is still there from Bournemouth, just not really getting the joy they expected from it right now at this moment. Seems to be all Newcastle. Their movement's a lot better than Bournemouth.
Well, Barnes wanted the free kick there from Adam Smith. He was backing into him, and certainly Smith was engaging in contact, but again the referee not interested. Right-footed ball from James Hill is a searching one down this near side, and it's searching for the touchline because it's gone straight into touch and will be a throw which Livramento will have midway inside his own half away to our right-hand side. 129th season in the FA Cup for Newcastle United, 13 times in the final, 48 times they've exited in round 3, the last of which was when they lost to Sheffield Wednesday away. That was in 22-23, losing 2-1 at Hillsborough. They'll be keen to avoid that, having got to the quarter-finals and round 5 respectively in the last 2 seasons. On halfway, working hard on this near side, is Enis Ünal. The Turkish forward had that terrible injury but returned to score an equalising goal as Bournemouth came from 2 down to draw with West Ham at the Vitality earlier in the season, but that's his only goal contribution and his 10th appearance of the campaign. Most of the lifting up top being done by Evan Nilsson, and of course Semenyo, who has now departed with his 9 goals and his 3 assists under his arms from the Premier League alone for Bournemouth. Here's Barnes on the charge, good pace, still got the ball at feet, teasing all the time at Adam Smith, who's stuck at his task, and it's going to be a throw right by the corner flag down this left-hand side for Newcastle.
Well, he's a fullback's nightmare, isn't he, Harvey Barnes, because when he picks up that ball and he starts driving at you, you don't know whether he's going to go on the right side or the left-hand side of you. He's done really well, looks really bright in this game, but it all came from David Brooks selling himself a little bit, didn't time his tackle properly. And Barnes was a 1v1 situation. Well, you know exactly what you're going to get from him.
Livramento with a throw, 7 or 8 yards from the corner flag on this left-hand side. Short to Trippier. Back to Livramento. Oh, inside the box. Now, Barnes is at the byline on his left foot, and across doing the block immediately was James Hill again. Doesn't go out of play. Livramento keeps it alive. Trippier, chance to deliver on that favoured right foot of his. Instead he goes to Livramento again. He's going to use his right rather than go onto his left by the byline. Pulls it back to the edge of the box. Tonali's there. Tonali, without a goal this season, thinks about shooting. Livramento, left-footed ball across. Once more James Hill is marking that near post, and he puts it behind for another corner down this left-hand side, and this one will be delivered by Harvey Barnes.
Well, they're going to have to make this pressure pay, Newcastle. They are so on top in the game. Great free again from Tonali, the little layoff. Corner after corner, cross after cross. Just needs somebody in a black and white shirt to get on the end of one of them.
Barnes will deliver. Trippier, the furthest player back this time. You thought it might have been a delivery from him, but it is Barnes who plays it short to Tonali, then swings a ball to the back post where Malik Chow was waiting, but there's too much on that, and it goes straight out of play. Petrovic's arms are in the air, and it will be a goal kick away to our left-hand side for Bournemouth. We've been playing for 24 minutes. You're listening to Talksport 2. It's FA Cup Game Day Live, where it remains Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0.
Well, 70% possession, Newcastle at the moment, Adam, and I wasn't quite sure what Harvey Barnes had in his mind there, playing the short corner. You've got pressure on this back line of Bournemouth. Keep the pressure there, just put the ball into the area. You've got big lads in there. Voltemada is huge, Botman huge. Don't let them down by playing a little short pass before you try and cross the ball. And his corner, or his cross should I say eventually, was really poor.
Well, it's interesting. I arrived here quite early this morning to meet up with a Newcastle fan who's an old friend of mine. One of the main topics of discussion over our cup of tea was Eddie's inflexibility to change the system from a 4-3-3. And lo and behold, we turn up today and he's got Voltemada playing in this 10. And dare I say it, they look really good. Down this right-hand side is Trippier, and here early to whistle. Oh, the clearance was missed by Diakite, but it was also not quite enough power on it to reach Wissa. Here's Voltemada. Now Ramsey down this left-hand side towards the edge of the penalty area. Is he thinking about the shot? Well, he's turned himself into a bit of a cul-de-sac. Gets it back to Tonali. Then there's Willock at the edge of the penalty area. Tonali again tries to poke it through to Willock. Comes out to Barnes. They're queuing up here at the edge of the penalty area, but no one wants to have a shot for Newcastle United. Down the line is Tonali. Cuts that back across the face of goal, and it's cleared away by Diakite, who was all on his own at the back edge of the 6-yard box for Bournemouth, who at the moment are withstanding this incessant Newcastle pressure.
Well, you just have to listen to the crowd. They're enjoying themselves, these Geordie fans. They're running riot at the moment. The only thing they can't get is a goal. I mean, they're playing keep ball on the edge of Bournemouth's 18-yard area. It's wonderful football, but that final pass is just letting them down.
Enes Unal has gone down. I think he was on his own when he went down, so this may be a muscular issue, and he already looks a little frustrated, and they've already put a slip in for a substitution, I think. So we're going to see Evan Nielsen, and I think Enes Unal's race is going to be run here.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a shame, that, isn't it? I think when you're waiting for your opportunity as well, certainly playing at a stadium like St James's Park, Adam, the last thing you want to do is go down with a muscle injury. Look, it's a cold day. It's down to the individual players. I mean, I hope he's okay. But you don't want to see players coming off the pitch with a muscle injury, certainly around this Christmas period when there's just been game after game after game after game. And it's a real shame, but this gives the chance, I have to say, to Unai Emery, to Andoni Iraola, to say to his players and drag them all across and get them organised. Because the last 10-15 minutes, they have been all over the place, and very fortunate this game's still 0-0.
Well, he's certainly taking that opportunity. Also taking the opportunity today is Cameron Archer for Southampton. It's Doncaster 0, Southampton 2. Donny, of course, 23rd in League One right now. And it's Cameron Archer who has doubled Tonda Eckart's side's advantage in that FA Cup tie in Yorkshire. We're a little further north than that today, under the blue skies in the northeast. Evan Nielsen is coming on. Not too much snow around here, it's fair to say, although as I was wandering around some of the streets this morning with fairly ice, a lot of ice around, I was advised by my northern friend to try waddling. And that's how you do it. Apparently you shift your weight from side to side, a bit like a penguin. But I did say, is that a Chris Waddle? Because it's done up here. I'm assuming it would be.
Hiking boots, Adam.
I think that might be the answer.
It's the future.
Yeah. And it's going to be a throw on that far side for Bournemouth. I'm assuming they're just going to give the ball back to Newcastle here, who kindly put the ball out. So Evan Nielsen's on, and it's another injury for Enes Unal, of course, a 28-year-old Turkish forward. Only his second FA Cup appearance today. Injury has robbed him of some of those. He's had a tough time in the last kind of 12, 18 months or so. They're on the attack here. Krupi with a shot on the right-hand side, just on a tight angle from about 14 yards out, and it's easily saved that time by Ramsdale, but early good link-up play that time involving Evan-Nielsen and Krupi.
It certainly was. Good introduction with Evan-Nielsen, and those two players, they kind of know they're in sync with each other, aren't they? Very good move.
On the charge again down this left-hand side come Newcastle with Harvey Barnes. Most of the game played away to our left-hand side as Bournemouth under pressure. That pocket of supporters at the top of the stand, of course, into the feet of Voltemade. It's back to Ramsey, right-hand side Trippier, edge of the penalty area, cutting onto his left foot, gives it back to Ramsey. Trippier's closed down, finds a pass, eventually to Tonali, almost in slow motion, and then out down this left-hand side for Barnes again, who just tries to wiggle his way beyond Adam Smith. But again, the experienced fullback, the Bournemouth captain, does enough to get the ball clear as far as Botman, but it does allow Newcastle to keep the heat on this Bournemouth side deep inside their own territory, although Tonali now is back inside his own half, and I think they may end up using Ramsdale here as Botman looks for a way through. Ramsey will use Ramsdale because he's under all sorts of pressure that time from Alex Scott, who goes long Ramsdale towards Wissa, who can't get there. Voltemade does enough to help Newcastle get possession again. Trippier to Voltemade on the charge now. He's 15-20 yards inside the Bournemouth half. Ball at feet centrally, and he gives it back to Tonali. To the right-hand side is Trippier. Trippier off the angle of the box, right for the ball, curled over, just over the head of Wissa, and it cannons that time off of David Brooks, and out behind for yet another corner to Newcastle on this left-hand side.
Just got trapped in between his two centre-halves, Johan Wissa. It was a decent enough ball into the area, but as he went to leap, the two Bournemouth centre-halves just kept him on the grass, and he couldn't quite get away from his marker, but David Brooks couldn't really do anything with it. The ball bounced off his chest there, straight out for a corner. But they've got to make it count. They've been really good, Newcastle, in this first half. They played some wonderful football, but the amount of balls that have gone into the area, you need that first contact.
Here's the corner then. Tonali's going to deliver it out on this left-hand side. We've had various try. This time he's going to swing one in, and Petrovic punches. Comes out to Willock, who hits it. And it's high, wide, and not very handsome from Willock, about 14 yards out. He's had a real slash at that one.
Yeah, he doesn't want to see that one back again, does he, Joe Willock? Again, that ball. I have to say, what a player Tonali is. The amount of running he does in a game is absolutely first class. Defensively, helping out, and offensively, but he's whipped that ball into such a dangerous area. Petrovic can only get a little bit of a fist on it, but Joe Willock's got to do better than that. Get your body over the top of it, just guide it towards that Bournemouth goal if you can, but he's just tried to lash at it really and skied it way over the top of the crossbar.
Probably won't surprise you to hear it. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Brentford 1. Keane Lewis Potter on target for Keith Andrews' side. They've won 4 of their last 5 games, currently sitting 5th, of course, in the Premier League. Sheffield Wednesday have only won 1 game in any competition this season. That was in the Championship against Portsmouth. That was back in September. And another tie where we've got a Premier League side taking on a Championship team. It's Fulham 0, Middlesbrough 1. Hayden Hackney, I'm always still surprised he's still treading the boards of the Championship, to be fair, and he's not in the Premier League already, but he showed his class with the opening goal of the game at Craven Cottage this afternoon. Fulham 0, Middlesbrough 1. Here's Livramento, left-hand edge of the penalty area, clips the ball to the far post, and Willock's trying to hook his right boot round it to keep it in, but instead he just puts it straight out of play, and it'll be a goal kick away to our left-hand side for Bournemouth. 32.5 minutes played. You're listening to Talksport 2. Already today, Everton are out, leading the shootout by Sunderland. We've seen the departure of Crystal Palace, the holders of the FA Cup, beaten by Macclesfield in the shock of the day, brought to you live on Talksport. Leicester are through against Cheltenham. Some might say that's a shock given the way Leicester are playing recently, but probably not. Cheltenham 0, Leicester 2, that one finished, and Wolves beating Shrewsbury in a bit of a local derby, 6-1 at Molineux earlier today. Bournemouth on the attack with David Brooks down this right-hand side. Gives it short to Evan-Nielsen. Back towards halfway where Cook is waiting. Stocky figure of Lewis Cook, former Chelsea man, of course. He's got the ball at the edge of the centre circle again. He works it out back to James Hill. And Hill's looking to work it forward again. So he leads Lewis Cook previously, of course. Clipped over the top here for Livramento to chase back on, right by the corner flag. It's clipped forward by Livramento, straight to the head of Alex Scott, who's seeing a lot of the ball in that midfield for Bournemouth without really driving them forward. And Harvey Barnes had got his skates on down this left-hand side, but just ran it out of play. And it was shepherded by the aforementioned Lewis Cook into touch, and it'll be a throw for Adam Smith on this near side. Here's Mickey Gray.
Yeah, a little bit of a let-off there, wasn't it, for Lewis Cook? He was obviously turning back towards his own goal, and if Harvey Barnes opens his legs like he tried to do, but the let-off was his first touch, let him down, kicked it out of play rather than keeping it inside of the football pitch. That could have been a dangerous scenario for Newcastle. But I've enjoyed watching so far, Adam. I have to say, in this game, they've made those changes, but the players who've came into the starting 11, they've settled in very well, played some really nice football. And the one that has been impressed, apart from Tonali, I have to say, is Voltemade playing in the 10. It's like he's been playing there for months and months and months. He's enjoying himself a lot.
I remember speaking to Eddie Howe after the League Cup game here when Worcester scored his first goal. And Worcester said in his interview, actually, with us, that he quite liked the idea of playing with Voltemade, to which, when Eddie Howe was asked, he kind of... what was it they used to do in the Masons? You had balls to choose from, didn't you? He absolutely said no to that one. It wasn't happening. It was like, no, never in a million years. And yet here we are. I mean, I think it's partly been forced by the injury issues they've got. Now down this right-hand side, just trying to make his way through that time was Adley at the edge of the penalty area, and it's going to be cleared away by Newcastle. But he's kind of been forced into it today, but as I mentioned earlier, it seems to kind of work. Here's Voltemade on that far side. He was fouled, was he? There was a couple of shoves, but I think the referee, Thomas Bramall's, very much let that go, and I think Voltemade was thinking surely one of those was a foul, but not in the eyes of the referee.
Yeah, I think weirdly, you see players going down to ground and we always expect a foul to be given, but I think on that occasion, yes, there was a bit of contact, but there has to be contact in football. I think he went down a little bit too easy for my liking.
Well, I think as someone described it the other day, was it Thomas Soucek described it as turning into basketball, where contact now is minimal.
Yeah, it's a shame, Adam. It's a different game from when I played myself, and I've heard a lot of ex-footballers from my era saying pretty much the same thing. You want to see that physical side of football. Yes, of course, you don't want to see players getting injured, and you have to be a little bit lenient at times. But you've been to stadiums over the years, you've worked on this side of football, and when you get a great tackle, the cheer is as loud as a goal, and I think I miss that from football. I really do.
There's nothing quite like it. I think we are seeing a little bit more at times physicality being left go in the middle of the park. There's no two ways about that. You and I were at the game between Wolves and West Ham last week, but there was a lot of physicality involved and a reluctance to blow the whistle on those instances. Trippier's away down the right hand side here for Newcastle. Early ball into the box. Brilliant. Looking for Wissa. It was an excellent delivery, but not enough on it, and James Hill is there again for Bournemouth, and then apparently there's a foul at the edge of the penalty area. Ramsey with a challenge on Alex Scott, and that will be a free kick for Bournemouth. 8 minutes to go here to half time. It is Newcastle United 0, Bournemouth 0. There are plenty of other FA Cup goals elsewhere. Burnley 2, Millwall 0. Chuana with the goal. In Scotland, Celtic 2, Dundee United 0. So the warm, friendly hands of Martin O'Neill back on the tiller at Celtic. Our very own Martin O'Neill, and it's already working out okay for him as they lead by 2-0 in that game. And in League One, Peterborough lead Bolton Wanderers by 1-0 as well. And Ipswich have gone in front against Blackpool. Jayden Philogene on target for Ipswich Town in their FA Cup tie against Blackpool. And Boreham Wood 0, Burton Albion 1. Kyron Lofthouse with the goal for Burton Albion. 21st in League One, of course, against National League Boreham Wood. They reached the 5th round in 2022. They've already beaten Crawley and Newport to reach this stage as well, but they're behind as things stand right now. No goal here yet, and we've got 7 minutes left of this first half. Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0 on Talksport 2. A reminder, 5:45 on Talksport. We will bring you Spurs against Aston Villa. And then after that, 8 o'clock tonight, it's Charlton against Coventry. Both those games live on Talksport later today, before we bring you more FA Cup action tomorrow afternoon. West Ham against Queen's Park Rangers here on Talksport 2. We've got Derby against Leeds early doors on Talksport, as Brooks goes into the penalty area, goes Scott, should I say, and he has it by the corner flag on this near side, tracked all the way, that time by Livramento. Back to Lewis Cook without a goal in quite some time. Lewis Cook and his right-footed ball is aimlessly pinged into the penalty area, I would say, and out of play for what will be a goal kick.
Yeah, just need to be a little bit more patient there, Lewis Cook. He had more time than he thought.
Well, Ramsdale's immediately bowled this one out for Ramsey on that far side. Now Willock towards the edge of the penalty area. He's got Ramsey going outside of him. Willock comes back in field. Tonali's got acres of room here to size up a shot if he wants to, and he does. And it was dipping, but it was dipping wide of the crossbar, and it will be a goal kick for Bournemouth.
Well, he's getting closer, Sandro Tonali. He's had 2 pops from around about 35 yards out, and we know he's got it in that powerful right foot of his. That one had a lot of whip and dip on it, and I'm sure as the game goes on he will get more opportunities. Just needs to hit the target. But been a very good first half from Tonali. Talked about his energy levels. He just seems to be everywhere, but it just shows his class when he's on the ball.
He does, and it's Brooks on this near side for Bournemouth. Down the right hand side, Krupi has set Brooks away. Livramento's got some tracking back to do here. Brooks cutting infield onto that left foot of his. Lovely ball to the far edge of the penalty area. Adley's there, tries to tee it up for Brooks, and back doing the defending was Ramsey, and he puts it behind for what will be a corner for Bournemouth on that far side, that left hand side in front of that Gallagher stand.
He's done really well there, David Brooks, to start that move off down this right hand side. It was a good foot race between himself and Livramento, and he's played that ball into Adley. His first touch has to be better. You see, he's waiting for help, he's waiting for backup, and then does neither. You know, it's a little bit sloppy from him. You know, you think about a confident player would take a touch out of his feet, get it onto his strong right foot and get his shot away, and probably been Bournemouth's problem in this first half.
Short to Scott. Scott, right-footed shot. Oh, and then Ramsdale had gone down, but it was blocked, I think, by Tonali in the 6-yard area. Ramsdale had committed because that shot was well driven by Scott. There's a bit of fury around from some of the Newcastle supporters. They didn't respond quicker to that short corner being taken, because Scott had all the time in the world, and then Hill has fouled Trippier as that one's punted back inside the Newcastle box, and it's a free kick for Newcastle United that Trippier is looking to take quickly on that far side. Oh, he sliced it into touch, hence the moans and the groans from all around. Willock couldn't get there, and it'll be a throw on that far side to Bournemouth. It may be 0-0, but this is a really good game.
It is. You know, I've been to a couple of 0-0ers lately, and I've seen some really good games, and this is another one to add to the list, Adam, I have to say. And they're just trying to rush a little bit now, Bournemouth. When they get around the edge of the 18-yard area, I think they've got to be a little bit more patient. Yes, of course, Newcastle have had the better of it. They've had a lot more possession, and they've had some very good chances in the game, but it'll open up because of the tempo of this football match in this first 45 minutes. You wait until we get out in the second half, changes, freshen things up as well, and you've got two sides who certainly know how to score goals.
Certainly do. Newcastle 6th, of course, in the Premier League. Bournemouth down in 15th. But it is worth remembering, after 9 Premier League games, Bournemouth was 2nd in the Premier League table. They had that wretched run. They actually lost 2 of their first 10 games in all competitions, then went 11 without a victory before that win against Spurs. And what a fitting way for Antoine Semenyo to depart with a stunning late winning goal against Spurs in stoppage time on Wednesday night. Certainly a very good way to depart a football club on very good terms, it would seem, as well. Throwing on halfway down this right hand side for Adam Smith. Just over 2 minutes remaining in this first half. Smith clips it down the line, helped on its way by Brooks. Livramento with the overhead clearance, hacked up in the air. Voltemada just leans on Evanilson to win the first header, but Evanilson gets it back. Krupi, and then Krupi just tried to turn it back into Evanilson's path, but only got it as far as Tonali, and then Voltemada and Willock combine nicely. Chow on the right hand side finds Trippier 10 yards short of halfway, clips the ball over the top. Barnes running onto this in that right hand channel, comes out to Willock. Willock takes in his stride but overruns it, comes back to Barnes at the edge of the penalty area, clips the ball across, whistles into acres of space on the volley. Would have been offside anyway. He put it wide. Wisser, he was 8 yards out, hooked the shot, but the flag had gone up on the far side anyway for what would have been an offside, but in the end it will be a goal kick taken by Petrovic for Bournemouth.
Well, I'm not quite sure if Johan Visser knew he was in an offside position. He has a very, very good ball to him, and you expect him to hit the target from there. It's kind of a plucked out cross, isn't it? But with his right foot, you expect him to hit the target, Johan Visser. He's had a couple of shots in this first half. Movement's been very good. But as soon as that flag went up, it was a little bit of a relief for Newcastle's number 9.
Rodri and Jake Doyle-Hayes with an own goal means it's now Manchester City 3, Exeter City 0 at the Etihad. And Burton Albion through Charlie O'Connell have increased their lead over Boreham Wood. That's an own goal from Charlie O'Connell, so it's Boreham 0, Burton Albion 2. And it's a third for Southampton as well, Doncaster Rovers 0, Southampton 3, Matsuki looking after things for Southampton, who look like they're comfortably en route to round 4 of the FA Cup. Newcastle have it, 30 seconds to go to half time. Probably about maybe a minute or so added for that injury to Unal as Botman goes back to Ramsdale, away to our right hand side. And now on that far touchline, Chow's going to come forward. Rob Jones, our 4th official for today. One of the joys of today is there is no VAR to upset us. 2 minutes will be added at the end of the opening 45 here on Talksport 2. Livramento gives it short, helped on its way by Ramsey. Voltemada under all sorts of pressure by James Hill, who's come out to meet him midway inside Newcastle's own half. He's been covered by Adam Smith and by David Brooks. But I know there's a track in your man, but that's a little bit extreme from James Hill.
There's man-to-man marking, and there's that what we've just witnessed. I mean, Voltemada, he's probably Newcastle's deepest player.
They've got it again now, though, Bournemouth, with Scott on that far side. Hairband, hair flowing. Beneath that band, he's gone down at the edge of the box. And again, there was 2 Newcastle players there, but he's not even complaining. I think it was a good challenge in the end. Livramento gets a ball from Barnes. He works hard to get it. It's kept in by Bournemouth on this near side and by Smith, and then by Brooks. Smith's gone on the overlap down this right hand side. Right-footed ball swung over early. Evan Nilsson at the edge of the box tries to find Krupi. Adley then on the charge to the byline, cuts it back beyond Evan Nilsson, who misses it. And Ramsey will now bring it clear, and with instruction is being waved, or the hand being waved to Krupi and Adley to get back, because Willock's on the charge here, and that's a dreadful final ball from Joe Willock, 25 yards out, straight to Petrovic. And I think Evan Nilsson, Krupi and Adley all being told, you can't stay up there, you need to come back and defend.
And they just made bursting runs into Newcastle's 18-yard area. Really good move, and Adley's cross is actually a very good one, and he's looking over his left shoulder to see where his teammates are. They'd all gone in towards the 6-yard area, and moments after, then Newcastle find themselves on a counter-attack.
Ramsdale gets this one forward over halfway. Barnes is there. Now he's got 3 forward. One of them's Wisser. Wisser to try and chase onto this. Hill's got back, and Hill will stick it 10 rows into the stand. Whether we'll have time for this throw for Newcastle will be seen. We will. Wisser takes it short. Here's Voltemada. Left-hand side. Level with the edge of the penalty area. And I think if he'd crossed, play would have continued, but he went back to Livramento. And the referee says enough is enough. At the end of an opening 45 minutes that's been thoroughly entertaining, end-to-end stuff. Petrovic had the real important save to make from a shot from Wisser, which Voltemada teed him up for, that looked like it was heading into the top corner. It's all been fairly regulation for Ramsdale away to our right-hand side. Thoroughly entertaining 45 minutes of cup football, but at the moment nothing to separate these two sides. Half-time at St James's Park. It's Newcastle United 0, Bournemouth 0.
Brilliant stuff, Adam. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it might be goalless, but a very entertaining first half between those 2 Premier League sides in this third round FA Cup tie. I mean, watching this, for me, the fascinating thing about this, Mickey, and I want your analysis on this, is the link up and the sort of the symmetry between Big Nick Voltemada and Johan Visser. When both of those strikers signed, until that injury to Visser, it seemed to me that they were always just going to play with one striker. Fans have been calling for it. I've been scanning social media. There's been a meltdown from Newcastle fans. They're loving that Eddie Howe has decided to play them together. And although Nick Voltemada is, the big guy and that cliche, he's got great feet for a big man, and I love that as a big man with a wand of a left foot, might I add. It's been great to see them linking up and playing in a slightly different way, Mickey.
Really good. I've enjoyed it, Max, I have to say, and I don't think maybe people were looking at it as they lined up and thought, big man, 6'5", 6'6", playing into 10, and then the little guy playing further ahead of him in Johan Visser. But Voltemada's feet for a big guy are very, very quick and very good. His hold-up play's been excellent, and he's been very lively in that first half. As has Visser on a couple of occasions. He had 2 very good chances, yes, albeit I think the second one he was in an offside position. But I think the spine of Newcastle, Tonali's been outstanding. He's running off the ball's been excellent. He started the game really, really lively. He's had a couple of little sighters himself, 35-yarders, but yes, they haven't really threatened that Bournemouth goal. But an excellent first half of football. Energy to burn from both sides. Really, 2 sides in front of us that are going for it. I think Bournemouth in the final third have got to do a little bit more. They're kind of flashing at things, they're rushing at things, and they've just got to be a little bit more patient. But they've certainly come here to win this tie, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And look, whilst we'd say Newcastle probably had the better of it, it's still 0-0, and wins for Eddie Howe against Bournemouth have eluded him. I think it's only 2 in the last 13 Premier League meetings between Eddie Howe and his former side. And so, although, yes, Bournemouth are without Antoine Semenyo, he's featuring for City, who are currently beating Exeter in the other third round tie, although they've only won 1 in the last 12, I always fancy Bournemouth because they continue to surprise, they continue to sort of exceed expectations, and I think the longer this goes on, Mickey, the more dangerous this is for Eddie Howe and Newcastle. Yeah,
I think you're spot on, Max. They're so good on the eye to watch because of the young talent they've got in the starting 11, and the good thing about them is they never change. They might have lost 10 and 11 in a row, or they haven't won in 11 games, but they don't change the style. It's entertaining. It goes to try and win every single game, Iraola, and I think that's where he deserves a lot of credit. And it gives people the opportunity to come and play in the Premier League, whether it be Premier League football, FA Cup football, it doesn't matter what it is. In these players, you can see they're enjoying the football. I think Newcastle, there's no doubt, been the better side in this first half, but that doesn't mean that Bournemouth haven't competed. They've created chances themselves, and I'm sure in the second half they'll get a few more as well. Yeah, absolutely. We're looking forward to this second half. It's been a top first half. Brilliant stuff. Adam and Mickey, I'll let you go and have a refreshment, because it's time now for us here on Talksport to get a quick weather report, all thanks to QuickFit.
Talksport 2 Weather Report. With QuickFit. Drive away happy every time.
Yeah, currently for Newcastle, Bournemouth up at St James's Park, though this one live here on Talksport 2. 3 degrees with sunny intervals. Later on live on Talksport, Tottenham host Aston Villa in that 5:30 kickoff. 3 degrees. Partly cloudy. Nice to see that the sun's shining up north. Happy days. And then in the late kickoff, this is one with a big story around it, because Liam Rosenior takes charge of Chelsea at Charlton. 7:45 kickoff live on Talksport. Interesting to see how Rosenior gets on first game in charge. That one's 2 degrees and a clear night. That was today's weather report, brought to you by QuickFit, with over 600 centres across the UK, most of which open 7 days a week. They're always there when you need them.
Talksport 2 Weather Report. With QuickFit. Drive away happy every time.
Next up, we will look ahead with William Hill to the odds, in-game odds for the second half between Newcastle and Bournemouth.
It's frothy football, man. FA Cup game day on Talksport 2.
Our Queen Nana and her iron-strong will. Request list as long as her arm for a funeral. Luckily, a Co-op funeral care appointment, a chat, a bit of structure, turned 1,000 royal requests into one brilliant way to honour Nana.
If it's hard to know where to start, we're here to help every step of the way. However you choose to say goodbye, we help you own it. Co-op, owned by you, right by you. Search Co-op Funeral Care for your nearest funeral home.
On your marks, get set, go hybrid. The new Toyota Aygo Cross Hybrid. More oomph than a Friday feeling, and smoother than your last online date. More confidence, more go, in a new hybrid engine with 0% APR representative over 24 months. The new Toyota Aygo Cross Hybrid. Go on. Visit your local Toyota centre. Price from £21,595. Available on Toyota PCP when financed through Toyota Financial Services by 31st March 2026. Optional final payment indemnities may be required. See website, conditions apply.
People are tuning into radio more than ever. Advertise here and get your message heard by up to 6.5 million switched on listeners every week. Email radio@news.co.uk.
Which business insurance provider is trusted by nearly 1 million customers? Take it away, Gina.
Simply Business.
From builders to bakers to beauticians, if you need business insurance, join nearly 1 million customers who trust Simply
Business.
So search Simply Business today.
Simply Business.
That's enough, Gina.
Simply Business.
T's and C's and acceptance criteria apply. UK only.
I remember holding her for the first time. Now, I'm about to walk her down the aisle.
Moments like these deserve to be seen clearly. With the Vision Express Eye Care Plan, get 2 pairs from £5.70 a month, including 20% off and an advanced eye test. Vision Express. Step out with confidence. T&Cs apply. Interest-free loan subject to status. VE is a credit broker, not a lender. Representing Adaro Optics Limited. Authorised by the Financial Conduct Authority. Minimum 24-month term.
Hear that? It's your big McDonald's hunger calling. Because the Big Arch is back. And this time, it's here to stay. With juicy beef, cheddar cheese, and that Big Arch sauce. Hungry? You are now. Order delivery on the McDonald's app.
Football is the hero. FA Cup Game Day on Talksport 2.
Yeah, this is FA Cup Game Day, Talksport 2, where it's currently goalless between Newcastle and Bournemouth up at St James's Park. Despite that, fantastic action between both sides. We'll be building up to the second half in a minute. But time now for an odds update with William Hill.
In the Zone on Talksport 2 with William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Ben Barrett is back with us. How you doing, Ben?
Very good, thank you, my good man. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Enjoying this this clash between Newcastle and Bournemouth. Interesting one, particularly as I've been speaking with Mickey Gray there about sort of Nick Woltemade, Johan Visser. What are the in-game odds in terms of them potentially getting on the goal sheet?
Yeah, looking at some of the stats for this game, the possession is heavily in favour of Newcastle, but actual shots on target favours the Cherries. Newcastle are 3-4 to go on and win this game. The draw 2-1. Bournemouth are 15-4. Visser, you mentioned at the head of affairs there, he's had a couple of shots on target, the only 2 that Newcastle have actually managed so far. He's in the betting at 15-8 to score at any time. Nick Woltemade, who hasn't registered a shot on target yet, he is in the betting at slightly shorter odds, 17-10. I'd argue that the Visser odds were probably slightly more tempting. We do have an enhanced odds live at the moment. Harvey Barnes or Johan Visser to score the first goal at 11-4. Newcastle are the favourites here, but Bournemouth are giving as good as they're getting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and we've said the longer this goes on, I think that particularly with Eddie Howe's record against Bournemouth, the more dangerous it gets for him as well. What are the odds later? We've got that 5:30 kickoff between Tottenham Spurs. Tottenham in a really difficult moment at the minute. Of course, Thomas Frank's coffee faux pas stole the headlines after they lost to Bournemouth earlier in the week. What are the odds for that one?
The odds for him to walk out with another Arsenal coffee cup are astronomical, if truth be told. In terms of the actual football, there really is nothing between them, and I mean that in the most literal sense. Spurs are 6-4, Villa are 6-4 to get the win. The draw 23-10. Villa, of course, fighting on multiple fronts here, and Spurs looking to get their season back up and running here. In terms of the goal scorer markets in this one, Richarlison leads the line for the home side. He's 7-4 to score at any time. Always difficult, isn't it, with team news in games like this? Xavi Simons 17-5 could be a little bit of value. Ollie Watkins has been in good goal scoring form. If he gets the nod from the start, 13-8 that he gets on the score sheet at any point in this afternoon. John McGinn is possibly the value play here, 19-5 for the Scot. Does play a little bit more forward in these cup games. He might be the value play. All of our goal scorer markets are impact sub applicable, so if they don't score but the player coming on for them does, you will still have your bet land. And we do have an epic boost, got to give that a shout out. A goal in both halves of the original 90 minutes should be a heavy odds on, is now even money. We don't care who scores it, when they score it, how they score it, as long as there's a goal in both halves. Epic boost will land.
Love it. Brilliant stuff, Ben, as always. Those were the very latest odds with William Hill, 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
In the Zone on Talksport 2 with William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
You are listening to FA Cup Game Day live on Talksport 2. It's half-time up at St James's Park. Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0. Next up, we get all the action from the second half.
Pleasure yourself with football. FA Cup Game Day on Talksport 2.
Talksport 2 is your dynamic destination for all the latest sporting action, featuring live commentary of all the biggest events, including football, PGA golf, horse racing, Premiership rugby, cricket, boxing, and all the big-hitting drama of the NFL. Touchdown! Plus, Talksport 2's official betting partner, William Hill, is always on hand with the insight and in-depth analysis you need. Talksport 2 with official betting partner, William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Hi babe, what a day. Fancy staying in tonight instead? Mackie's calling my name and I saw you can get £5 off if you spend £20 on the app, so you in? Of course you are. Okay, bye.
Exclusively on the McDonald's app. Save £5 when you spend £20 on food and drink via delivery. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Service and delivery fees apply. Valid once per week, 1st to the 31st of January. Participating restaurants, serving times apply.
The moment they walk down the aisle, you want to see it all and feel ready. Our advanced eye test checks both your eyesight and eye health, so you feel confident in life's important moments. It includes a UV protection and dry eye assessment, plus an OCT scan for early detection of conditions like glaucoma. Book your advanced eye test today. Vision Express. Step out with confidence. T&Cs apply. Upgrade your free NHS PRSI medical card eye test for a nominal fee.
At Lidl, we value getting you the most out of your money. Like switching from Tesco to Lidl and saving £31 on this week's big shop. See the savings at lidl.co.uk/save and start the new year feeling like a savvy saver. Lidl, more to value. Prices check 5th of the 1st, 26. Tesco also sell other products. See online for more details.
Get as much cash as you get your hands on and meet me at the Halsey.
Marty Supreme is nominated for 3 Golden Globes, including Best Motion Picture, Best Screenplay, and Best Actor Timothy Chalamet.
It's every man from South where I come from.
It's the best film of the year. 5 stars, The Telegraph. A masterpiece, IndieWire. 5 stars, The Guardian, Times, and Empire.
I don't think you understand the stakes here.
Timothy Chalamet and Gwyneth Paltrow.
What do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work out?
It doesn't even enter my consciousness.
Maybe it should.
Marty Supreme. Cinemas everywhere now.
Yorkshire Tea, where everything's done proper. Yorkshire Tea, brew strength made at your own discretion. Boiled water not included. Or mugs. Milk in second, always. For exceptions visit, no chance. Not ever, ever. Best stir clockwise, except on Tuesdays. Can accept no responsibility for squeezed tea bags left on countertop. Refer to box for details. Best stirred with a spoon, not your finger. May be enjoyed outside Yorkshire. Sheep on front of box not included. Nor is small cottage, nor is Sky. We don't know what the cricket score was. For best results, drink. May contain hot liquid. Whew. Blimey.
They say, go big or go home. But now you can go big at home with the Big Arch on delivery. That's right, the Big Arch is back and it's here to stay. Big Arch for big McDonald's hunger. Order in the McDonald's app. Served from 11 a.m. 18 plus. Service fee and small order fee may apply. Upcharges apply to delivery orders. Subject to availability. Price and participation may vary.
Apocalyptic football intelligence.
FA Cup Game Day on Talksport 2.
Yeah, you're listening to Game Day Live, FA Cup Game Day Live, this historic third round weekend here on Talksport 2. It's currently goalless between Newcastle and Bournemouth. Just a reminder that the action does not stop here across the Talksport network, because from 7:45, I can't read my 24-hour clock, 5:45 kickoff between Spurs and Aston Villa under pressure. Thomas Frank up against Unai Emery, who for my money, it's about time he won something at Aston Villa. We've got live coverage of that before the late kickoff as Charlton host Liam Rosenior's Chelsea. 8 o'clock kickoff there. But we're heading back to St James's Park with our fantastic commentary team of Mickey Gray, Sunderland legend behind enemy lines, alongside Adam Bridge.
Thank you very much, Max. Newcastle United are back out. Bournemouth on their way too. The lights are on here at St James's Park. Still got those beautiful blue skies above us, and it looks like everyone's as you were in the opening 45 minutes. Obviously, one enforced change already for Bournemouth. Evan Nilsson coming on to replace Enis Unal early on after he picked up another unfortunate injury. Evan Nilsson, only his third FA Cup appearance today. He's already got 2 goals to his name as well. Scored against Wolves and Man City last season for Bournemouth. The subs who've been out warming up, including Anthony Gordon, Joe Linton, Lewis Hall as well. and Lewis Miley all making their way off the pitch. Refs here, Thomas Bramall, we're ready to go, and it's Newcastle attacking the Gallowgate away to our right-hand side, who get us underway at the start of these second 45 minutes on what's already been an extraordinary day of FA Cup action across the Talksport network, with that stunning victory at lunchtime today for Macclesfield over Crystal Palace by 2-1. And that penalty shootout we brought you here live on Talksport 2 as well. Everton missing their first 3 penalties and Sunderland scoring them. I suspect penalties may have been on the practice agenda for Sunderland after Enzo Lefebvre with his Panenka the other night. I wouldn't want to have been him when he got back in that dressing room. Regis always looks very calm, Regis Lebris, but I can imagine there's a bit of rage there at times.
Yeah, I think the blood might have been boiling a little bit after that penalty, Adam.
Yeah, they put it right today, though, and Sunderland safely into round 4. As at lunchtime today, also were Leicester, of course, winners over Cheltenham, and also Wolves, who beat Shrewsbury 6-1. A real goal fest for Rob Edwards' side. Who's going through here, though, out of Newcastle and Bournemouth, this third FA Cup meeting between these two sides? It's fair to say that Newcastle's record against top-flight sides in round 3 isn't the best. It was 2011-12 that they last beat a top-flight side in round 3, and that was against Blackburn. They've lost their last 4 against Premier League opposition at this stage of the competition. And we're hoping that it doesn't become number 5 today. They certainly had the better of the first half, but still 0-0. We are almost 2 minutes into the second period. Trippier's cross is cleared away from the edge of the penalty area, taken down by Botman. Back to Chow. And here is Tonali inside the centre circle. They'll just keep the ball at the back, and eventually on that left-hand side, Botman will look to try and come forward again for Newcastle. They've got Ramsdale in goal. Trippier, Chow, Botman and Livramento is the back 4. It's Tonali and Ramsey as the 2 central midfielders, with Willock on the right, Barnes on the left and Voltemada in the 10, tucked in behind Johan Wissa. Substitutes include the goalkeeper, of course, Nick Pope. We've got Hall, Joe Linton, Gordon, Murphy, Guimaraes, Neve, Miley and Alabi are these substitutes for Eddie Howe's side. As for Bournemouth, it's Petrovic in goal. It's Smith, Hill, Diakite and Soler. Scott and Cook, the central midfielders. Adley, Brooks and Krupi in behind Evan Nilsson. Forster, Truffert, Senesi, Tavernier, Jimenez, Milicevic, Reece Dotton and Da Costa are the substitutes that are left and available to Iraola. Here's Trippier on the right-hand side for Newcastle. Infield he goes, where he finds Tonali, the Italian, and Willock charging forward down this right-hand side. Back again to Tonali, one of the 4 survivors from that win against Leeds in midweek, who started the game today for Eddie Howe's side. Ramsey in the centre circle finds Tonali, out to the right again for Trippier. Here's Willock, he's going to try and take on Soler this time. Little shove from Soler. Willock very easily went down, and the referee just laughs as that ball is played forward again, and Livramento intercepts a pass that was en route to David Brooks on that right-hand side. It allows Newcastle to break with Barnes down the left-hand touchline. Edge of the penalty area. Here's Ramsey. Thinks about shooting. Helped on its way to Wissa. Wissa now to this right-hand side. He's got Willock out there, who just keeps the ball alive under pressure from Soler. And his clearance will go up to halfway. And once more, Newcastle will have plenty of time to build again from the back with Chow and Botman.
Just having a look at Joe Willock, he looks absolutely shattered, Adam, doesn't he? I mean, he's made a couple of long bursts and runs, I have to say, but he's walking around shaking his head.
Here's Voltemada into Harvey Barnes! Brilliant finish from Barnes! Pops it into the bottom corner, and he's in the form of his life right now, Harvey Barnes. Scored twice in midweek, and he's on target again in the FA Cup for Newcastle United. It's a brilliant finish from that inside left channel. Delightful ball from Voltemada, and Barnes gives Newcastle the lead. Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 0.
Well, it's brilliant. They haven't let up since they came out in this second half. Newcastle have been putting the pressure on this back line of Bournemouth, winning the ball up high. Livramento does really well down that left-hand side, but when he plays it into Voltemada, It's a super little ball. He's hoping for an overlapping run or an underlapping run, and it comes from Harvey Barnes. And once he gets that little half a yard inside of the 18-yard area, he does everything right, keeps it low, gets enough power on it, goes straight underneath Petrovic, and probably what the game deserved, and certainly deserved from Newcastle.
10 goals for the campaign in all competitions for Harvey Barnes. He's certainly on it at the moment. That's his first FA Cup goal for Newcastle United. All his previous goals, of course, were scored for his previous club, Leicester City. But that really was a delightful finish from Harvey Barnes, riding on the crest of a wave after scoring twice, including that stoppage time dramatic winner against Leeds United in midweek. The first time this season that Newcastle come from behind to pick up Premier League points, and they did it in real style, and it was all driven by Barnes, who got 2 on the night. He scored again today, and at the moment he's making himself undroppable from this Newcastle United side, that's for sure. Here's Scott on the charge for Bournemouth as they try and get themselves back on terms. It's down this left-hand side with Soler. Bends a lovely ball into the box looking for Evanilson. Had to be well defended, and it was by Botman on this occasion. And now Ramsey will look to bring it clear on that left-hand side.
What a ball in from Soler over this left-hand side. He had no right to whip it where he got it, but they nearly got on the end of it, and they're going to have to do a little bit more of that if they're going to get themselves back into this tie. Because Newcastle...
Oh, it's given away. Evanilson inside the penalty area, saved by Ramsdale. Should have scored. It's poor at the back from Newcastle, but Evanilson there, what an opportunity. He got it on target, but it was straight at the goalkeeper. They've not finished yet. Alex Scott with a shot, that's blocked, and that's going to spin out on this near side. Willock's after it, runs into touch, and it'll be a throw by the corner flag for Bournemouth, who should be level.
Well, I mean, Livramento has just been given a lifeline. What is he doing, just trying to play a ball halfway across his own 18-yard area, which gets cut out? It's really sloppy. I've got to say, Adam, Evanilson, he has to score. Strikers in that position, that is absolutely food and drink for somebody like him. He has to put the ball in the back of the net. What a huge chance.
Well, he kicked it straight at Ramsdale, who didn't know too much about it, to be fair. It cannoned off his body and away. And bearing in mind, in Ramsdale's recent run when Pope was injured, couldn't keep a clean sheet for love nor money. Didn't really do much with that save then. It was poor from Evanilson, if anything. And that was after poor play initially from Livramento. Sloppy from Newcastle, but they still have the advantage here, 7.5 minutes into the second half.
Sorry, Adam, I was saying there's that much going on in the game, it's very difficult, but I'm just... Harvey Barnes, his numbers are incredible this season. You said 10 goals this season. I think it's 5 assists off 3 or 4 or 5 assists. And you've got Anthony Gordon, who's not playing today, who's probably going to be on the aeroplane going to the World Cup in the summer. But if you're looking at numbers, is he throwing a late shout in for himself to maybe get himself on the plane? I don't know.
Well, he's certainly, as you say, numbers-wise, he is having the season of his life right now. But he's been trusted by Eddie Howe as well. It's his 30th appearance of the campaign today, and this is Newcastle's 31st game. So he is being relied upon by Eddie Howe. Whether that's partly, of course, because they've had their injury issues and the departure of Isak as well. That's a ball on the right-hand side that set Krupi away here for Bournemouth on that right edge of the penalty area. Krupi gets the cross to the back post towards Evanilson, too much on it. Evanilson's going to just try and keep the ball in by the corner flag, which he does. I think there was a question mark over whether Krupi was offside or not, but the assistant kept his flag down. Bournemouth still on the attack here, and it's with Cook out wide to that right-hand side. Smith is there, gives it short infield again to Brooks. Brooks now into the middle. Krupi's there, little layoff from Adley. Adley on to Scott, left-hand edge of the box. Soler cuts in onto his right foot, hits the shot into the back of Willock, and it's ricocheted up towards halfway. And now it's picked up again for Bournemouth from the back, nicely by Hill. Hill will drive forward, and he does to the edge of the penalty. Oh, so much room for Krupi to hit the shot. Ramsdale spills it. Evanilson, brilliant skill, brilliant finish. Offside flag is up. It won't count, but Ramsdale didn't know that. He spilt it. Evanilson, excellent touch of skill, but he was in an offside position.
Well, he's a fortunate boy, Aaron Ramsdale, isn't he? Because he just parries the shot. Yes, it's got a bit of movement and sting on the shot from Krupi. But Evanilson he triggered quicker than anybody else. He knew that there could have been a mistake from the goalkeeper, and there was. in the goalkeeper. Ramsdale is very, very fortunate. The little dink over the top of him, the finish is so cute and clever. But the flag went straight up. They're not out of this, Bournemouth, by a long stretch. They're playing some nice football now.
Man City have a fifth. Rico Lewis on target for Manchester City in the game against Exeter. Safely into round 4 for City as Trippier is just forced back here towards Ramsdale. Tells his skipper to leave it, and he'll look to clear it with his right foot to the left edge of the penalty area where Botman is waiting. Second goal for Peterborough. They lead Bolton Wanderers by 2-0 in League One. Another FA Cup goal I saw here. Yep. Matthew Pearson's pulled one back for Doncaster 1, Southampton 3 in the FA Cup as well as things stand. And in Scotland, Hibs 0, Motherwell 1. Reminder, Celtic having a good day. They're 2 up against Dundee as things stand this afternoon. You're up to date with everything here on Talksport 2. FA Cup Game Day Live, second of our 2 live commentaries here on Talksport 2 today. Already Everton dumped out by Sunderland in a penalty shootout, and here Newcastle have the advantage courtesy of Harvey Barnes. That's brilliant from Adley. He's going to be penalised for a free kick. There was a little shirt pull. Trippier, I think, involved in that, and it's been indicated by Thomas Bramwell that it was a shirt pull a little further back after the little touch of skill from Adley, which was very
It was
nice.
Brilliant, wasn't it? It looked like he was going to get challenged because he was turning into Kieran Trippier, but the little drag back, the quick feet, was excellent to watch.
First FA Cup appearance, of course, for Adley, signed from Bayer Leverkusen. Here's Krupi inside the penalty area, can't get his shot away. Botman did excellently. It's going to be a corner with the intervention, just as Krupi looked like he was going to get the shot away. But this is not good news for Newcastle United. Immediately, it looks like maybe it's Livramento that's gone down inside the penalty area. He was chasing back with Botman. And it looks like Semenyo has scored for Manchester City. He has on his debut. 6-0 now to Manchester City against Exeter. But they've not scored many goals. They've had lots of opportunities in the last few weeks, haven't they, Manchester City?
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of them, Mickey. Well, they've made up for it today against poor old Exeter, that's for sure.
Yeah, they certainly have. Well, he only adds to the quality they've got in those forward positions, Semenyo, and it's always great to get off to a good start at your new club. I'm sure they've got another star in their hands, haven't they, Manchester City, and he's only going to make them better in those forward positions. But to this game, Adam, this is a worry, isn't it? Because I think it's Livramento who's gone to ground. It's a great saving tackle, I have to say, because Bournemouth are starting to play some really good stuff at the moment. But another defender, and he looked straight over at the technical area and started waving his arms around, didn't he, as to say he'd had a hamstring problem. He's back on his feet. I hope he's okay.
Lewis Hall's coming on. I mean, they won't take any risks, will they? They've got a left back on the bench. They've obviously got Lewis Miley as well available, who, well, he can play anywhere, can't he? Have they tried him up front yet? I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, well, look, he's limping behind the back of the goal at the minute, Livramento. He's hanging on to his backside, which is where your hamstring starts. And I think, having been in that position myself and knowing that when hamstrings pop like that, you've got to come off the pitch, and he just looks distraught, doesn't he? And you just hope it's a slight hamstring pull and he's going to be okay in the next week or two. But the way he's walking at the moment, it doesn't look like that, does it? I think it could be a little bit longer, and it just adds to the injury list and defenders that Newcastle haven't got at the moment.
And they've got defending to do here because it's a Bournemouth corner on that far side. Left-footed, it's going to be swung in by Brooks, and it's away by Voltemada on his goal line. Out again on that far side. Here comes Brooks' delivery again on his left foot. He's worked a better angle this time. Clips it towards the back. Oh, Ramsdale palms it away. It was heading into the top corner. He's palmed it away. It's been cleared away by Tonali. Willock's going to try and get there first. Smith wins the header to Cook. Helped on its way down this right-hand side. Tonali again volleys a lovely ball through to Willock if he can get the run of it. Almost comes to Willock. Out comes the keeper. Oh, the keeper's missed it. Willock tries to get his foot on it to turn it home. And in the end, it's poked out of play for what will be a corner down this right-hand side. Calamitous defending and also attacking.
Well, calamitous from both goalkeepers at both ends. Ramsdale could have plucked one out of the sky. Came out and tried to punch it away, didn't really get it right. And then at the other end, Petrovic, because he had two Newcastle players kind of crossing in front of him, he just flapped his arms around, didn't make any contact with it whatsoever. But the pass from Tonali, oh my goodness, absolutely outstanding on the volley.
I don't think Petrovic was even close to it, despite being kind of a couple of yards away from the ball. He just waved both arms, nowhere near making contact with that ball. Here's the corner for Newcastle on this right-hand side. It's going to be the first action of the game for Lewis Hall, and that's to deliver this corner. Left-footed towards that back post. Voltemada was there! Oh, and it's hit the underside of the crossbar from Botman and down. It's back to Hall again on this near side. Gives it towards Trippier, who gets there. Now maybe there's a counter on for Bournemouth. No, Trippier's kept to the line. Helped on its way to Willock inside the box. Oh, Soler's gone down, claiming he's had an arm in the face. Jason Tyndall's bouncing up and down on the spot. I think that one sent him raging. Willock is saying, I didn't touch him, but Soler's gone to ground holding his face. Oh, he's all right now. There's a surprise.
And this is the annoyance, isn't it, Adam? Because the Arsenal-Liverpool game in the Premier League, we always saw what happened with over on the touchline, players getting dragged up or pushed off the pitch, and that there was we knew there was an injury. But in this situation now, yes, there might have been a slight little bit of contact in Soler's face, but you have to stop the game. They get away with things. Trying to get that even balance is so difficult because, if there is something wrong with the player, then you've made a mistake if you're telling the player to get back to his feet, but it's so frustrating to watch at times.
Soler infield to Scott for Bournemouth on halfway. It's all going off at the keep moat. Doncaster 2 now, Southampton 3. Jordan Gibson for the side right at the bottom of League One. They were 3-0 down at half-time against Championship Southampton. But they're now trailed by just one. And Harry Wilson, what form is he in right now? Fulham 1, Middlesbrough 1 in the FA Cup at Craven Cottage as well. Harry Wilson absolutely on fire at this moment in time. Bournemouth on the attack here with Brooks. Slips it through. Evan Nielsen from a tight angle and turned home at the back post quite comfortably by Alex Scott. He was all on his own. Acres of space. Ramsdale didn't have a clue he was there, and he's popped it in from close range to bring Bournemouth level, and this FA Cup third round tie is well and truly alive. It's Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 1.
Well, you can't say it hasn't been coming. They've looked really lively, Bournemouth, in this second half. They've came close on a couple of occasions, but that little through ball from Evan Nielsen, I don't know if it's a shot come cross, but Alex Scott's just kept himself onside. He's timed his run to perfection, and it's a simple little tap in at the back post from 2 yards away, and they are back in this tie, Bournemouth. We knew that there was going to be more goals at him in this game, just didn't know which end they were going to come out, but Bournemouth, my goodness, brilliant.
I would also say, Mickey, based on what we've seen from Ramsdale in the second half, there was no way he was keeping a clean sheet today.
Yeah.
It just wasn't going to happen.
You're spot on.
Here's Evan Nielsen out to this left-hand side. Soler, Bournemouth in the ascendancy. They're level. Now they're trying to go ahead. Ramsdale's come for that, and he's gathered it around the penalty spot for Newcastle United. Immediately bowls it out to Tonali. 63 minutes played now on Talksport 2. Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 1. Trippier. Across to Tonali, 25 yards out, cries of shoot. Tonali gives it to Trippier instead. Right-footed ball, lovely ball to the left-hand edge of the box. Barnes is there in acres of space. He's got Hall on the overlap, gets the cross in. It's nodded behind. Good defensive work at the back that time from James Hill again. It's another corner for Newcastle on their left.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's end-to-end, this game of football. I've really enjoyed it. This time it's Newcastle on the attack. I love that overlap and run from Lewis Hall there. Just got his head up, snatched at his cross a little bit. But it's the willingness to get in behind your wide players and keep the pressure on Bournemouth and try and get yourself back on winning ways.
That Harry Wilson goal, by the way, is his 8th goal of the season for Fulham, their top scorer. Tonali swings that one in, up and over behind for what will be a goal kick. I think the final touch may have been off Chow or Botman on that occasion, just to tidy up Alex Scott as well, his 3rd FA Cup goal. The last came against Swansea in 2024. His only goal this season previously as well was against Brighton. That was back in September. So Alex Scott contributing for Bournemouth. It's now Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 1. here on Talksport
and
2.
And Adam, we never really got the chance to speak about Botman hitting the crossbar for Newcastle.
Oh, this is true. That's a really crunching tackle from Kieran Trippier. And what I like about that is Adley's just got up and smiled and said, all right,
Brilliant.
I'll give you that one, because that was a heck of a challenge.
And that's what we were talking about, wasn't it? Challenges like that, you know, I think it's a dying art at times, don't you? But you could hear the cheer from the Newcastle supporters. Trippier timed it brilliantly. Adley, honest, got himself back to his feet. Just want to see more of it, week in, week out.
Benjamin Nygren has scored for Celtic. They lead Dundee United 3-0. It's all so simple for Martin O'Neill, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's simple, isn't it? Football is a simple game played by idiots, they used to say to me, Adam.
And St Mirren 0, Falkirk 2. Calvin Miller with a goal for Falkirk. Ashley Barnes again for Burnley. Burnley 4, Millwall 0. Ashley Barnes, 35, 36 now, is he?
And what's Burnley's problem been this season is scoring goals? Well, they've had somebody there who's been at the club before. He's came back. He knows where the back of the net is. He's the old-fashioned centre forward. He might get a few more opportunities in the Premier League.
He may well. You think Fleming's got 6 for them this season, and Anthony's got 5. They've reached the 4th round in 5 of the last 7 seasons of Burnley. They're safely there today, you would feel. They lead Millwall by 4 goals to 0 as things stand. Lewis Miley and Anthony Gordon are coming on. Anthony Gordon looks cold before he's even done it. He's literally standing there. He looks freezing. He's got the short sleeves, no Under Armour on either. He's ready to go, as is Lewis Miley. Here's Malik Chow on the chart for Newcastle. Edge of the penalty area. Finds Ramsey. Gets it back from Chow. Ramsey again, 25 yards out from goal. Lovely ball. Trippier's got around the back on the right-hand side. Delicious cross. Looking for Wisser at the back post. Headed behind again by James Hill, who I think has been an exceptional centre-half today. On probably the best on the pitch by a mile. Yet another crucial intervention. It's a corner for Newcastle.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. He's been excellent. James Hill, he really has been in the right place at the right time when needed to be. But what a ball in from Kieran Trippier. We know he's got the quality from those wide areas. Just needs somebody to get on the end of it.
Here's Tonali from the far side, right-footed, high, looping under the goalkeeper. And Chow got it goalwards, cleared off the line. Again, Petrovic had come for it. Neither keeper covering themselves in glory when balls are put into the penalty area. But it was cleared away as it was heading goalwards from Malik Chow. Tonali on the far side. Gets it back now and down for Ramsey. Ramsey will just turn. He's got Hall inside of him. Hall with room to run here. Left-hand side on the angle of the box. Tries to play it early. Blocked out by Krupi. Tonali has it again on the far side. First time ball in from Hall to the back post. Wisser nods it across the 6-yard area. Headed out by Soler on this near side. And then picked up by Adley. Clipped up this near touchline. Chases on here for Brooks. Now there's 3 forward. It's 3 gone 3 in fact. It's Brooks still going down the left-hand side. Oh, the ball across from across towards Krupi was easily intercepted. Gets another chance and scores. David Brooks. How much time can a player get at the edge of the Newcastle box? He didn't need any more. Brooks onto his right foot. Bends it into the bottom corner. Beats Ramsdale with ease. And that Newcastle backline is all over the place. And David Brooks takes full advantage. And Bournemouth have turned this cup tie round. Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 2.
Well, what an incredible finish from David Brooks. He's ran from his own half. He's got away from his marker, Kieran Trippier, who couldn't quite catch him up. His first touch was out of his feet. You thought the opportunity had gone because he tried to lay it across to the 6-yard area. It got cut out, played back to him, and on his weaker right foot just uses the defender to whip the ball around and into the bottom corner. You mentioned it, Adam. Aaron Ramsdale has had a really poor second half. Can he do better? Can he get across to his left-hand side a little bit quicker? But take nothing away from David Brooks. It's a super finish, and what a turnaround in his FA Cup tie.
Trippier's going off. The captain's armband has gone to Willock, and Barnes is coming over from instruction. In fact, Willock's got the captain armband and he's now going off. Miley's on, Joe Linton's on. Anthony Gordon has come on as well. Gordon's come on to replace Wisser. That's the other change, and Joe Linton on for Willock. So it'll be Gordon going down the left, of course, Barnes down the right, Voltemada down the centre. So we're going back to a 4-3-3. He's decided the 4-2-3-1 is not working. So Miley's on at right back, and 3 changes for Newcastle. They were going to make these anyway, to be fair. I think the Joe Linton one's an additional one. And we've got more changes coming for Bournemouth in a moment as well. What a game we've got on our hands here, almost at the 70-minute mark. It's Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 2. That goal from David Brooks. Curled into the corner. 3rd FA Cup goal for David Brooks. His first against Oldham back in 2021. He made his debut before did David Brooks at Sheffield United. That was back in 2016 in this competition, and he scored today. Tavernier and Jimenez are the 2 players that are about to come on for Bournemouth. Got a free kick for Newcastle though, so they're going to maybe wait, or they're going to do it now. It's going to be swung in from that far side. Gordon's just leaving it. They are going to make the change now. Adley is the player that's coming off Tavernier. I don't think he's happy about it as well. I think Iraiola's saying, yep, it is you. And we're also going to see the departure of the goal scorer. David Brooks is coming off Alex Jimenez as well. So, double change for Bournemouth. They lead 2-1. I think Eddie Howe is just saying to Rob Jones, they're taking their time over this. I hope you're adding this time on. We're at that stage already. Panic is setting in. Celtic have a 4th. They lead Dundee United by 4-0. I did notice a goal here. Burton Albion leading Boreham Wood 3-0. Fabio Tavares, so no dream for Boreham Wood today. And a certain friend of ours will be very excited. Peterborough United 3, Bolton Wanderers 1. Lisby on target. He'll have a smile on his face this afternoon.
I'm sure he will. Adrian Durham we're obviously talking about.
Gordon down the left-hand side, racing away. First introduction into the game. Lovely crossover. Botman gets it up in the air. Second header won by Chow. Nodded back into the danger zone. On by Voltemada and away from the edge of the 6-yard box. Now it's nodded down once more. Voltemada gives it to Barnes. Clips the ball towards the back post. Headed away that time by Krupi. Tonali hits it. Well, we said he was getting closer. That one's gone further away as it flies into the Gallagate away to our right-hand side.
Yeah, my bad. I think I was saying Tonali is going to get closer with these long-range shots. Well, he's getting further away. But it's not to say he wasn't in the right position. But Bournemouth were just struggling to try and clear the lines. Couldn't get the ball anywhere away from their own 18-yard area. But that's what we're going to have to need from Newcastle now if they want to keep themselves in this FA Cup. Got to get themselves back into the game, but they can have no complaints. Bournemouth have been the better side in the second half. They've been more clinical, and they've got their goals to boot.
Well, Eddie Howe as a manager has lost 6 of his last 9 at home in the FA Cup. 4 of those losses came with Bournemouth, 2 of them with Newcastle. Is it about to become 7 in 10 today? Funnily enough, he actually scored his first FA Cup goal for Bournemouth. And when they beat West Bromwich Albion in round 3, that was back in 98-99. That was a bit of a giant killing on that occasion. Eddie Howe was on target that day for the Cherries, of course, before becoming manager. At the moment, he's being dumped out of the competition by the Cherries, and Newcastle's interest is about to diminish. I mean, there may be some sceptically who'll say, well, hang on, we've got a League Cup semi-final around the corner. We've got 2 big games still to come in the Champions League. As that ball's cut into the box on the left foot of Tavernier, gathered up by Ramsdale. Maybe being out of this competition isn't a bad thing. I don't think there's too many people around here who think like that, though.
No, absolutely not. And I think the way they've approached it, they're certainly going for it. There's no doubt about that. But it comes down to quality at the end of the day, Adam, and Bournemouth have been better in front of goal.
And Bournemouth just seem to have the little sign over Newcastle at this moment in time. Gordon on the far side, lovely spin and turn. He's got away from Smith. Gordon still going inside the penalty area. Almost stumbled down, and in the end, he will only give the goal kick to Bournemouth. In those instances, you usually see Anthony Gordon eating turf and looking for the spot kick, but not this time round.
Yeah, I just wonder whether Lewis Cook's done him a little bit of a favour there. Looked like there was a slightest little bit of contact. Well, that's all that you need, because he was at full flow there, Anthony Gordon. Maybe if he had gone to ground, Thomas Bramwell would have had a big decision to make.
Don't forget, Spurs against Villa, 5:45 over on Talksport this evening. Maybe if you're listening via the Talksport app, it's really simple to just swipe between stations, of course, wherever the live commentaries are, and then maybe stay there later for Charlton against Chelsea. That's 8 o'clock tonight. And then tomorrow lunchtime, we've got more. Derby against Leeds, Championship against Premier League. Portsmouth against Arsenal, and then our exclusive game tomorrow afternoon sees Manchester United taking on Brighton and Hove Albion. It sounds like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer may be the man who's going to get the interim job till the end of the season for Manchester United, which, given that he didn't leave in the best of terms last time, but looks like he could well be the man who's going to keep the seat warm until the summer, when there's a whole trough of potential new managers available. Certainly your press conferences that you attend, Mickey, might be a little bit more enjoyable with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the seat.
Well, you talk about managers coming in next season. There's probably two in the technical area in front of us right now. We'll certainly be in the reckoning. I know Eddie Howe's name got mentioned, I think, by Roy Keane the other day. Areola, we don't know what his future is. Is it away from Bournemouth, or is he going to stay here? But you're right, there's going to be a long list of top quality managers.
Tajani Reinders has scored a seventh for these 7-time winners, Manchester City against Exeter City. There's a yellow card for Soler, who's pulled down Ramsey on halfway. He gets a round of applause from one of Areola's technical staff, because that was a very clear professional foul on halfway and a yellow card that they feel in this instance was worth taking.
Yeah, I think first yellow card of the game as well. It's been an honest game, both sides. It's been quite physical at times, which is great to see.
I've suddenly got a whiff of deep heat up here in the technical area.
I got that as well.
I was wondering which of our press colleagues has maybe pulled a hammy while they've been sat here. We have got Harmy alongside us. Maybe he's got some issues, but and this is coming from the bench, because we are quite close here at St James's Park to the bench just down in front of us. But that undeniable smell has reached us, and it's going to be a throw on this near side for Bournemouth eventually, when they get round to taking it, because they are doing everything incredibly slowly right now, Andoni Iraola's side, because they know the clock is ticking for sure. Soler with a throw down this left hand side for Bournemouth in that blue away strip. Diakite goes back to Petrovic, 10 yards outside his own box. Launches a ball forward towards halfway, over halfway should I say. Chow gets the first header. Joel Linton will win a header back to Ramsdale. Immediately Ramsdale looks to set Lewis Hall away. He's dispossessed on that right hand side by Jimenez, and it's Ramsdale again, right footed from inside his own penalty area. Launches it forward. It was a 4-1 win here for Bournemouth in the Premier League last season. They're winning here 2-1 now. Down the right hand side, Harvey Barnes looks to clip it back. Picked up by Miley. Miley then into the feet on this near side of Ramsey. Miley has no options really, apart from to find Chow and then Botman, and maybe they'll try and probe down the left hand side. No, Botman goes right again. Ramsey's there. Soler comes across with a header, and it's going to be a throw in on this near side for Newcastle United, which Lewis Miley will take. Ever so impressive here against Fulham and against Chelsea, playing out of position, of course, usually a midfielder, but was required to play in the back line on both those occasions and did it incredibly well. He's got another throw on this near side. Fulham have turned it around against Middlesbrough. Emil Smith-Rowe with a goal for Fulham. Fulham 2, Middlesbrough 1. Reminder, Fulham, of course, they got to the quarter-final last season. They're unbeaten in their last 5 games prior to today. Decent run of form for Marco Silva's side. Another name that's potentially been linked with Manchester United in the summer. And it's going to be a throw on that far side for Bournemouth, midway inside their own half. 12 minutes remaining under the night skies at St James's Park. Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 2. A reminder, it's 12 games since they last lost here. It was 28th of September when they were beaten by Arsenal. Having been in front in that game as well. They were in front today, but now they're 2-1 behind. Voltemada, midway inside the Bournemouth half, to Tonali, looking to stretch it down this right hand side into the feet of Barnes. Holds the ball up technically nicely, gives it to Miley down this near side again. Barnes looks to come inside Soler with a foul. He's on a yellow card, needs to be careful. Bruno Guimaraes is the final substitution for Newcastle United, and he's coming on for Jacob Ramsey, who makes his way into the dugout, and there's much happiness at the arrival of Bruno, who gets the captain's armband from Joe Linton, and the free kick is Tonali's out wide on this right hand side. The cavalry's on.
Yeah, they certainly are. That substitution was quicker than an F1 pit stop, wasn't it, Adam? It was very, very quick. They want to get on with it, and they need to, Newcastle.
Tonali with a free kick, right foot in, right to the edge of the 6-yard area. It was almost a free header for Botman, and then it came through towards Chow, but it's out of play for what will be a goal kick. He seemed to have time and space then, Botman. Perhaps should have done better. Again, no rush with the taking of this goal kick. Yeah, Botman did get up. He had some time and space at the edge of the 6-yard area, but couldn't put the header on target. There he is winning a header this time. On the defensive side, midway inside his own half. Krupi, Tavernier, trying to get away from Joel Linton on this near side. Tavernier still going inside the box. Tavernier cuts it back across. Almost comes to Krupi. Tonali's there to intervene. And now it'll be turned away on this near touchline by Miley, who's just almost spun himself into a deep hole there, but he does get it away, but only half clear. Tavernier, Jimenez inside the box, shoulder to shoulder from Guimaraes. He goes down and Newcastle will gather possession. Hall on the far side, up to halfway. Gordon skips past the first challenge. There's 5 black and white shirts forward here now. Out wide is Hall again, still with the ball at his feet. Inside the penalty area, goes down right at the edge of the box. That's going to be a free kick. And it is literally on the edge of the penalty area. Lewis Cook this time may well be the player that's just been booked.
Very fortunate as well. Look, what is it, about half a foot outside of the 18-yard area? I think it's Alex Scott who actually makes the challenge, isn't it? He's the one who gets the yellow card. But it's very, very close as he dives in there. But from the break, building up to that free kick, Anthony Gordon had the chance to play out a simple ball into the feet of Lewis Hall over on that left-hand side. Didn't quite get his pass right. And I think it's a story of Newcastle's second half. They played some nice football, but they've been a bit scrappy at times with that final ball, whether it's been a cross into the box, a pass down the line. Hasn't quite been there. The sharpness is not there. And Bournemouth have capitalised on it, but this is a big chance for the Black and Whites to get themselves back on level terms.
It is 8.5 minutes left. It's equidistant between the edge of the penalty area and the left edge of the D. And it is half a yard outside the box. Anthony Gordon and Tonali are the players over the top of this. You feel it's going to be Anthony Gordon with a shot. There's 5 in the wall. Anthony Gordon goes low and it's saved by Petrovic. He got down well. He'd have had trouble seeing that along the ground, and he gathers it up quite comfortably.
Yeah, I just wondered whether that was his intention or not. That'd have been that occasion there, because he's got a big chance there, Anthony Gordon.
Krupi's coming for this one. Ramsdale has to head it clear at the edge of the penalty area. It was a long ball punted forward, and Ramsdale was alert to the danger. Truffert is going to come on for Bournemouth on this near side. Barnes just tumbles to the ground. It's a throw midway inside the Bournemouth half. Here's the change. I can guarantee this won't be quicker than an F1 pit stop, that's for sure. It's Soler that's coming off. He hasn't got far to walk, but he's going to milk it. Of that there is no doubt.
Yeah, and why not? You know, all the hard work that they've put in, the effort they've put into this second 45 minutes, he could deserve to just walk off the pitch. He's had a very good game, Soler, I have to say. Very, very good with that left foot. Put some wonderful balls into the area, but Truffert, we know, he's a quality defender, and he's probably been told to go on the pitch, not go over the halfway line, and just see this game out.
I feel a little bit for Exeter City this afternoon because, well, Manchester City have had 3 draws in a row. I think they've taken it out on Exeter this afternoon. They've got 8 now, Man City. Nico O'Reilly. Manchester City 8, Exeter City 0. First time the two sides have ever met. It's going to be an afternoon that Exeter will never forget. I think that's for sure. 7 minutes remaining on Talksport 2, FA Cup Game Day Live. Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 2. Mickey Gray alongside me, Adam Bridge here at St James's Park. Can Newcastle find an equaliser to potentially take us to extra time? Guimaraes' ball in, Joe Linton with a header. Well, he scored a header in midweek. He couldn't direct this goalwards over the top of the bar and behind, and it will be a goal kick for Bournemouth. Time is running out for Newcastle United.
Well, these are not just chances, these are massive chances for Newcastle, and Joe Linton's got to do better. It's a fantastic ball in from Bruno Guimaraes, and it's on a plate for Joe Linton. He just jumps for a little bit too late. He's got away from his marker, just guide it towards the goal. These chances, they've had so many chances, Newcastle, and if you don't stick them away, it's why you're going out of the FA Cup.
Evan Nilsson has slid in and booted a ball well beyond our commentary position here on halfway, and it will be a throw to Newcastle United. Midway inside their own half. Ball very slowly coming off the field because there was 2 out there. Guimaraes short to Miley. Chow inside the centre circle. So inside the penalty area, should I say. Ramsdale away to our left-hand side. Gives it short to Malik Chow. Clips the ball towards Voltemada, who, well, since he's gone up top and not in that 10 role, he's seen much less of the ball in this game as Voltemada since they took Wissa off.
Yeah, completely agree with that. I mean, it's like Newcastle haven't now got that threat in behind unless it's coming from Anthony Gordon or Harvey Barnes, but they're not getting the ball out to the 2 wide players enough or in the right positions, and Voltemada's not the type of striker who's going to run in behind you.
Bournemouth 0, Burton Albion 4. No dream for Bournemouth today. Burton Albion into the next round of the Cup. Early ball from Barnes. Voltemada's on the charge inside the penalty area. Can't get it under control, and then real composure from Lewis Cook as he nods that back into the arms of Petrovic away to our right-hand side.
Well, it's superb from Lewis Cook. No, I haven't been in that position myself. You panic at times. You just want to get the ball away from your goal as much as you possibly can. What, it's about a 10 or 15 yard header back to his goalkeeper, and he just palms it or cushions it back to him. Excellent play.
Truffaut on this near side gives it short that time to Diakite. Clips the ball forward. Tavernier tries to bring it down and then fouls Bruno Guimaraes in the process, and that will be a free kick, and then Tavernier is going to be booked for taking the ball away, and Thomas Bramall immediately brandishing the yellow card. Time is running out for Newcastle United here. 4 minutes to go. Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 2. Are they going to lose yet again to Premier League opposition in round 3 of the FA Cup? Anthony Gordon, right-footed ball whipped in. It was never getting beyond the head of James Hill as he was looking for Voltemada. Throw is taken quickly by Lewis Hall to Anthony Gordon again on that far side. Dropping the ball in short to Hall. Back to Gordon once more. Now it's on halfway with Malik Chow. And now Lewis Miley on this near side. They're going to have to bring Ramsdale into this, who's 10 yards outside his own penalty area. 3.5 minutes plus time added on for Newcastle to turn this round. It is 12 at home unbeaten. They've been in terrific form. They've won their last 3 as well in the Premier League. Big games coming up too. They'll want this good home run to continue. Joe Linton on a charge. Plenty of pace when he gets going. He looks so dangerous. Here's Lewis Hall inside the box left edge. Tries to put the crossover. It's nodded down by Hill. Comes to Guimaraes at the edge of the penalty area. Hits a shot. Deflected over the bar. Was it? No, says the referee. I think there was a feeling Adam Smith had slid in for the challenge, but it was high and wide and will be a goal kick for Bournemouth.
And it was a perfect scenario what the two of us have just been speaking about there, not having that runner in behind. Joe Linton's running towards the back 4 of Bournemouth, and Voltemada's just pulling towards the side rather than making that sprint in behind, because he can't. He knows he hasn't got the pace to do it. Joe Linton's probably better going on his own, if you understand what I'm saying, and just getting his shot away. That's where they've lost that pace and that threat in behind Newcastle.
Little flick on that time by Tavernier. Now look to clear from this right-hand side. Voltemada helps it on. Hill will just take it down, and right-footed, Hill will launch a ball forward. You see, if you just joined us, Livramento's gone off injured as well. And the big games coming up for Newcastle, as I mentioned, Man City at home on Tuesday night. That's the League Cup semi-final first leg. They've got Wolves away in the league, then PSV here in the Champions League, then Villa at home, and then PSG away in the Champions League as well. Currently sit 12th in that Champions League table, just 2 points off the top 8 for that auto qualification. So they may well have another couple of fixtures coming up if they are in the qualifying round as well for the next stage of the Champions League 2. So it's a busy time. Injuries are stacking up. That's why in some ways maybe it could be a blessing in disguise if there's not a 4th round of the FA Cup waiting for them at some point. But they're still going for it. Here's Hall charging towards the edge of the penalty area. Across it comes to Miley. Out wide on this near side is Barnes. We're into the last 90 seconds of normal time. Harvey Barnes, can he be the hero again? Joe Linton chests it down. Comes to Gordon! Petrovic with a save. Offside flag is up against Harvey Barnes, who stabs it home from about 10 yards out. But immediately on this near side, the flag was up. And it's Petrovic's initial save Barnes was alert to the danger, but he was in an offside position.
Well, they're getting closer and they're knocking on the door, aren't they, Newcastle? It's a brilliant move and a wonderful strike from Anthony Gordon. What a save from Petrovic. We've criticised him at times for his handling in this game, Adam, but he got down so quick and so low to make that save.
Ryan McAdoo makes it Manchester City 9, Exeter City 0. Here come Bournemouth looking for a third, maybe. They're by the corner flag, happy to keep the ball. We're in the final minute of normal time here. Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 2. It's back by Diakite to Petrovic, away to our right-hand side. He goes long first time for Bournemouth. Evan Nilsson goes up to try and win the header, offside flag, but the referee will allow play to continue because Gimaresh has got it. Here's Tonali into the feet of Linton, who's on a charge. Joe Linton forward down that left-hand side. Gets the ball to Anthony Gordon, 25 yards out. Gimaresh again helps it on one more towards Tonali, but the pass went awry. Tavernier breaking away for Bournemouth in those blue shirts as they swarm forward. We're into 6 added minutes. Now again, Tavernier, he's got Joe Linton back there just to intervene, which he does, and wins the ball for Newcastle United. They have 6 minutes to turn this FA Cup tie round. Oh, it's given away to Krupi, who tries to chip Ramsdale, and he's just told to calm down by Iraola, and it will be a goal kick for Newcastle away to our left-hand side.
Do you know who's a better player than I actually thought he was, Adam, is Evan Nielsen. His movement and his hold-up play is he's really, really good at it. But I just want to see more goals from him because he's got everything else as a player. I know he's had his injury problems.
Gordon lifts it towards the back post. Petrovic can't get a touch on it. Comes down to Barnes. Barnes drills it across. Well, the purpose of drilling that from where he was, with the lack of bodies there, I'm not sure. It was never a shot. Maybe just a guided ball across would have been the better option towards Voltemada. We've had a minute of the 6 that have been added on here. Elsewhere, Burnley have really wrapped it up against Millwall now. Jadon Bernal, it's 5-0 to Burnley against Millwall. Jacob Greaves makes it Ipswich 2, Blackpool 0. And the poor run of form continues for Coventry City. Lamine Cisse scored for Stoke City just before the end of that game. And they lead Coventry City by a goal to 0. And Coventry City is live next Saturday lunchtime when we get back to EFL action here on Talksport 2, 12:30 kickoff. I'll be with you for that one at the CBS Arena. 4.5 minutes to go here. Reminder, Spurs against Villa is live on Talksport, 5:45. Charlton against Chelsea comes after that tomorrow lunchtime at 12. Derby against Leeds, followed by Portsmouth against Arsenal, followed by the exclusive game Manchester United against Brighton. We've also got West Ham against QPR on Talksport 2. Oh, that's run through. Here's Tonali inside the box, goes around the keeper, goes down. Is it a penalty? Yes, it is. Petrovic takes down Tonali. Now, what kind of action? Surely only a yellow card here for Petrovic, if anything at all. Thomas Bramall is taking his time. Tonali's the player that's gone down, and there's a chance for a penalty, and it is a yellow card under the double jeopardy rule. I think they're saying that he did try to get the ball. Tonali's going to need some treatment, but it is a penalty to Newcastle United in stoppage time.
Well, what a pass from Anthony Gordon, and a willing runner in Tonali, who's been ever present throughout the whole of the game. He's given absolutely everything. And you could see as Petrovic was coming off his line there, he had a decision to make. Do I stay on my line and make myself big, or do I come out and try and win the ball? Well, he's timed his challenge wrong. It is the right decision. I know we don't have VAR today, but we don't really need it in this situation, Adam. Thomas Bramall was right in the perfect spot. He's seen the contact, and the penalty was given. And I'm just looking now on the pitch. Anthony Gordon's got the ball in his hand. He probably looks like he's going to be the penalty taker. I don't know who else. I'm trying to think. Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, but it certainly looks like Anthony Gordon. But what a big opportunity this is to get the equaliser in added on time.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt it will end up being Anthony Gordon who will take this spot kick. He's scored goals from the penalty spot throughout this season as well. And it's going to be Tonali who's up and about, thankfully, because they've made their 5 subs, although they will obviously get an extra should we move into extra time. And that is what Anthony Gordon is going to try and deliver here for Newcastle United. He's had the ball for a while, there's no two ways about it. And now an opportunity for Anthony Gordon from 12 yards against Jordi Petrovic. We are, almost 4 minutes into 6 added on. He got a red card here when they lost to Brighton last time out, of course. Can he go from villain to hero this time round and send us potentially into extra time? Anthony Gordon then, from 12 yards, Petrovic, arms down by his side. We await referee Thomas Bramall's whistle to say that Gordon is good to go. And in fact, he's just waiting for the assistant to get himself on the goal line away to our right-hand side. That was the delay. There's the whistle. Anthony Gordon then, freshly on, 12 yards out, right footed, down into the corner. Petrovic goes the right way, but he can't stop it. And Anthony Gordon is on target from the penalty spot again. His 8th goal of the season in all competitions. And as we head into the final minute of time added on here at St James's Park, looks like we're going to extra time. Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 2.
Right, super penalty from Anthony Gordon to bring us back on level terms in this FA Cup tie. But Anthony Gordon was involved in the build-up play that brought that penalty. What a pass he played through before the challenge on Tonali. But he was so confident when he stepped up to take that penalty. I believe they've got an incredible record, Adam, haven't they, with penalties at St James's Park? I think there was 21 penalties scored, 18 in the league. And I think that's now 4 in cup competitions. Was it?
Yeah,
Joe Willock,
that's
I think.
22. It was Joe Willock against Man City. And we have to go back to 2021 for the last penalty that was missed here. Oh, Bournemouth are inside the penalty area. Croup has gone down. They want a penalty. Their arms are in the air. In the meantime, the break's on for Tonali on this near side. Charges his way forward and he doesn't win the throw. Bournemouth get it midway inside their own half.
Well, we had a little shout, didn't he, for a penalty there. Bournemouth. I think it was Anthony Gordon who actually came back and made the challenge himself, but I don't think there was enough in it for me. You could see the Bournemouth technical area, they're going a bit crazy because they want the decision, but there just wasn't enough contact. And if you're not going to have replays, then you're definitely not going to get that decision.
There's a chance maybe now. Gimaresh, could Newcastle steal it? It would be unbelievable if they did. Here's Lewis Hall, left-hand edge of the box. Lewis Hall with a shot. Brilliant block from Adam Smith at the edge of the 6-yard area on that far side. Did enough. Now Bournemouth, we've had the 6 minutes that were added on. Charging forward is Lewis Cook over halfway. Out to the left-hand side, Tavernier. Miley's there, he's got support. Triffitt's coming. Here's Cook, edge of the box. Gets a chance for a shot, does he? No, left foot in, drilled over the bar. Ramsdale with a save. No, I thought he got a touch on that, as did the Bournemouth bench. The shot was driven in that time from Scott. It looked like Ramsdale had tipped it over, but the referee says no.
Yeah, well, it fell kindly for Alex Scott on his left foot. And it did actually look like there was a little bit of contact with the fingertips from where we're sat here, Adam. But again, it's that counter-attacking break from Bournemouth. Newcastle can't switch off. They're going for the winner, but you still have to see this game out.
We're into the 8th minute of added time. There were only 6 originally, but that penalty has caused the delay and the injury to Sandro Tonali. Here's Gimaresh on halfway for Newcastle United, clips one forward. Anthony Gordon's on the charge down that left-hand side towards the byline. He goes down, but the referee very much not interested, and that will be a goal kick for Bournemouth away to our right-hand side. But we mentioned it against Leeds in midweek. It was the first time they'd come from behind in the Premier League to get themselves points this season. They've come from behind again today. Maybe there's a switch up in the resolve that this Newcastle side are now showing. Against the odds, down to the bare bones in terms of numbers. They've lost Livramento again today. They got themselves in front. Bournemouth then edged ahead, and in stoppage time Newcastle pour themselves level, and we're not done here at St James's Park just yet. A thoroughly enthralling 90 minutes of FA Cup third round football, and we're going to get another 30 minutes of it shortly. It's finished here at St James's Park. Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 2, and extra times coming next on Talksport 2.
Football is the hero. FA Cup game day on Talksport 2.
That's it. We need a bigger car.
Smart speaker, what's an award-winning SUV?
The Tucson is an award-winning midsize SUV and is available for a 24-hour test drive.
They look great. And it's a self-charging hybrid too.
Smart speaker, search offers on a Hyundai Tucson.
The Tucson is available with 2 years 0% APR. And it's Hyundai, by the way.
Discover the Hyundai Tucson self-charging hybrid. Ends 31st of March, 25% deposit, finance subject to status. Hyundai UK is a credit broker, not a lender. Terms apply. Which business insurance provider is trusted by nearly 1 million customers? Take it away, Gina.
Simply Business.
From builders to bakers to beauticians. If you need business insurance, join nearly 1 million customers who trust Simply
Business.
So search Simply Business today.
Simply Business.
That's enough, Gina.
Simply Business.
T's and C's and acceptance criteria apply. UK only.
This January at Morrison's, get freshly cut prices on your veganuary essentials, like aubergines, were 95 pence each. Now 69p, or Bold Beans Co. Queen Butter Beans, worth £3.25. Now £2.50. That's freshly cut prices at Morrison's.
Morrison's to shop at Morrison's.
Majority of stores, subject to availability. Prices may vary online and in Morrison's daily. Butter beans 570 grams, ends 20th of Jan. Aubergine ends 25th of Jan.
You've arrived. Your dream holiday. You got there for less thanks to comparing flight prices on Kayak. An idyllic local restaurant nestled in the cliffs. A peaceful pool with your own private sunbed. This is the life. All you have to do is actually book it. Don't holidays. Use Kayak to compare flight prices from hundreds of travel sites and bag a great deal. Search Kayak and go see for yourself.
Wrap up with great savings in the Vodafone winter sale. Get reliable full fibre broadband from only £24 per month. Hurry, this amazing deal ends the 28th of January. Plus, switching is easy with one-touch switch. So, go online or in-store today. Vodafone.
Was £26 per month on a 24-month contract subject to credit check acceptance and availability. Terms at vodafone.co.uk/terms.
It's the last chance to get yourself a ticket for tonight's Lotto draw.
It could be you.
Lotto from the National Lottery. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
I've been asked by Shredded Wheat to read out their ingredients list. Drum roll. Whole grain wheat. No, that's it. A single ingredient high fibre cereal. Shredded wheat. It simply does it. I'm telling you, that's it. Applies to shredded wheat, bite size and big biscuit only.
King of football commentary.
FA Cup Game Day
On Talksport 2.
Yeah, this is FA Cup Game Day live here on Talksport 2, where for the second time we're heading to extra time and potentially penalties thanks to a late penalty in normal time. First, it was James Garner's 89th minute penalty to take Everton to extra time. They, of course, lost 3-0 on penalties to Sunderland. And we're up at St James's Park, where thanks to Anthony Gordon, they've saved Eddie Howe's blushes against his former side yet again, given themselves another chance heading into extra time against Bournemouth, where we're heading back to Mickey Gray and Adam Bridge.
Yeah, thank you very much, Max. We are almost set to go at the start of extra time. Senesi has come on for Bournemouth, so an additional change for them. They'd already kind of made a few shifts of that back line with Soler departing. Jimenez now out wide on this right-hand side. Adam Smith is still out there. And it's the introduction. I think Krupp is the player that has gone off for Senesi going in at centre half. So we'll just see how that pans out as this game develops in this first period of extra time. And it's going to be Newcastle defending the Gallagate away to our right-hand side. Here we go. And it's Bournemouth who are going to get us underway. Referee Thomas Bramwell is happy, it would appear, on that far side. It's been a busy afternoon of FA Cup action and we're spilling into the evening here. Reminder, 5:45 Spurs against Aston Villa over on Talksport, followed by Charlton against Chelsea as the drama of the third round of the FA Cup continues. And we've had plenty of it here. That stoppage time penalty from Anthony Gordon, scored his last three already, got a couple in the Premier League for Newcastle this season. And he added one. 8 now goals in his 25th appearance for Anthony Gordon. And we've got a throw on that far side for Bournemouth. And it's going to be launched into the edge of the 6-yard box. Joe Linton's there to get it away. Here's Senesi immediately trying to cross a ball in. Joe Linton's there to block it out. Going to be a corner on the far side, which Lewis Cook is going to go across and take for Bournemouth. Trufair is lurking at the edge of the penalty area. Tavernier too. Adam Smith the furthest player back. but there's plenty of danger in and around the penalty area. James Hill's in there, Diakite as well. There's plenty of centre halves out there right now for Bournemouth, that's for sure. Here's the corner then, Cook to deliver on that far side, right-footed, and it's going to be gathered by Ramsdale in his 6-yard area. Both goalkeepers have had their moments in this game, I think it's fair to say, but both potentially, if this stays at 2-2, will have a chance to make heroes of themselves in the penalty shootout. Botman sought to Lewis Hall. Botman again under pressure from Evanilson, gets it out to Guimaraes, and here's Gordon on this near side. Oh, he's given that away. Gordon straight to the feet this time of Tavernier. Tavernier's on the charge. Evanilson wants it. Tight angle for Evanilson. Cuts it back across and off the line. It's a brilliant bit of defending in the end by Botman to clear that one away after Ramsdale was beaten by Evanilson. An incredibly tight angle. How on earth he got that shot on target, I do not know.
Well, I was just waiting for the goalkeeper, Ramsdale, just to pick that one up, because as you said, Adam, it was such a tight angle. It was very hard for Evanilson to get his shot on target. When he did so, got it under the goalkeeper, and he'll be thanking Botman because he's doing really well on his own goal line to clear that away.
Guimaraes just over halfway, drops that ball in short this time for Botman on this near side. Now it's picked up by Anthony Gordon again, who gave that ball away very, very easily. Gordon wants a free kick. Adam Smith's offered to help him up. It's been ignored by Gordon. The referee not giving the free kick anyway, because he says Newcastle have possession. And Joe Linton has it. Here's Guimaraes. He's closed down by Cook, fouled by Cook, and a free kick midway inside their own half for Newcastle United.
He's a clever player, Bruno Guimaraes, at times, isn't he? You can see he's got nowhere to go. I think him and along with Jack Grealish, they just have this knack of going to ground and being able to win fouls and taking the sting out of the game a little bit. And looks like we've got a bit of an issue here as well. Look, we're into extra time, and poor Lewis Cook, I think it is, at ground. It looks like he's going to be okay. He's getting back to his feet, limping away. But when you're not playing every single week, this is what happens with you. Your muscles just start giving up on you, don't they, at times?
Well, just have a look at how Bournemouth has set up now, because Senesi came on. He's dropped into that back line with Diakite, and it looks like James Hill has gone into more of a holding midfield role. He's got some defending to do now, though, because Miley's on the attack from that right-back position. Guimaraes has got it on that far side to Tonali. Back to Miley again. Edge of the box on that right-hand side. Tonali always just let the ball spin away from him and out of play and into touch for a throw. I think Brooks is the one player that's maybe advanced a little further forward. Just almost into a 10 behind Evanilson, with Tavernier on the left and Jimenez on this right-hand side. So it's Hill and, I think, Scott. Sorry, Scott's advanced forward. So Hill and, I think it will be on that far side, Lewis Cook.
Yeah.
They're kind of a 2 holding in midfield for Bournemouth. So a slight change of shape for them with all these changes.
Yeah, it is. And I'm glad you mentioned James Hill. He's been outstanding today when he was playing in the back four, centre half. One of the players of the game, there's no doubt about it. So I'm sure the way he has been performing, he'll just settle into that midfield position. He's got that physical presence about him, but there's no doubt about it, he's got the energy and the legs to do that job as well.
He has, yes. Scott definitely playing as a 10 in behind Evanilson now. Jimenez on the right. And on that left-hand side, it's Tavernier. Is there a foul? There he is. And that's going to be a free kick. Also going to be a yellow card this time for Lewis Cook, who goes into the book. And Newcastle will have this. We've had 5 minutes of the first period of extra time here on Talksport 2. Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 2.
Still limping around a little bit, isn't he, Lewis Cook? He's not quite freed up from that knock he just had moments earlier. He was the one who brought Bruno Guimaraes down. It was a foul, and I think it was right to give him the yellow card that time.
Tonali with a free kick. Everyone is forward here for Newcastle United. Inside that penalty area, he's looking for Joe Linton. It comes out to the edge of the box, helped on its way to Gordon on this near side, and it's Scott with the interception to poke the ball out of play. And it's Hall who finds Guimaraes 30 yards out from goal. He's on an excellent goal-scoring run at home, is Bruno Guimaraes right now. He's been in such good form in recent times. He's scored in his last 3 games as well. Gordon, scorer of the penalty, finds Tonali. Edge of the box is Botman, helped out wide on that right hand side, clipped in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, comes down to Lewis Hall, chests it down, finds Joe Linton, left edge of the penalty area, goes back to Anthony Gordon. Again, no one quite getting the shot away for Newcastle United. Here's Joe Linton on this near side, just teasing and working hard to get the better of Hill, lays it across the 6-yard area, but comfortable for Diakite to get it clear and then headed on its way by Jimenez on this near side. Little poke to Miley to Hall, the two Lewises combining, and here is the left-footed clip from Hall to the back post. Oh, how's he put it over? How has he missed that? Rising at that back post, such a clear opportunity to head the ball in for Sven Botman, but somehow he's managed to put it over the bar.
Great play again from Lewis Hall over on this left-hand side, just gliding by his markers there. I just wonder whether he scuffed his cross a little bit. It was a tight angle eventually for Botman, trying to squeeze it in towards that near post, but once he gets above his marker, you think all you have to do is just nod it down. Doesn't quite get over the top of it.
He needs to either go across the goal, doesn't he? If he's not even going goalwards, just somewhere across the 6-yard box. Another injury here for Newcastle United, and yet the physio is coming on, and I think it's Malik Chow that's gone down. Well, this is the last thing Eddie Howe and Newcastle United need right now. One of their only two fit centre halves is face down on the turf on that far side. Sven Botman just back from injury. He's probably came on at half time in midweek. He's just having a little energy syrup, I think, down below, because he probably needs it. Maybe a bit of pickle juice for Grant, the way he spat it out, I'm assuming maybe.
Something that he didn't enjoy, put it that way, Adam, wasn't it? But again, you're talking about Malik Chow on the ground. It doesn't look good, does it? I have to say, facing the ground, and he's not really moving around too much. And you can see Eddie Howe in front of us now is having a conversation with his coaching staff.
Well, also, Alex Murphy's amongst the subs. They do get an extra sub because obviously we've already seen Hall, Joe Linton, Gordon, Guimaraes and Lewis Miley come on. So there will be an opportunity for an extra substitute to join in the fun. But we shall see. He could be heading to penalties here, of course, already today on Talksport 2. We had one penalty shootout in the game, all Premier League tie as well, between Everton and Sunderland. That finished 1-1 after 120 minutes, and it was 3-0 to Sunderland on penalties after Everton missed their first three. Dear oh dear. I would not want to fit in that dressing room when David Moyes returns, because I can imagine that's the sort of thing that would probably send him up the wall.
As if it's not hard enough taking a penalties, you have to walk into the dressing room and David Moyes is waiting for you.
Well, I've seen his eyes sometimes when he gets asked a question he doesn't like. I can only imagine how they were popping out. A reminder, we've already seen two absolute FA Cup shockers. Wrexham beating Nottingham Forest last night on penalties live on Talksport, and then it's lunchtime live on Talksport. Macclesfield beating Crystal Palace by 2-1. The leaders out. A message from Lewis Hall has come over about Malik Chow.
He has, but I think it's just a change of shirt, Adam. He's got himself turned around. He's sat on his backside at the moment. I think he wants to continue, but Lewis Hall has just come across and had a word with the kit man to say he needs a new shirt. So I think there's obviously a little bit of blood, whether it's come from his mouth or his nose or whatever, but he looks okay. He's back on his feet. He's walking around, which is obviously good news for Eddie Howe and Newcastle. But I think the closer it gets to us, we might see that blood, but we can't see any at the moment. But I think that's obviously what he's going to have to do, is change that shirt.
Well, he has to leave the field of play anyway, doesn't he, because of the treatment he's received. So he'll get the opportunity over here to change the shirt, that's for sure. In the meantime, it will be a free kick for Newcastle. It's about 15 yards inside their own half, and Aaron Ramsdale is over the top of this. And again, Newcastle have committed bodies forward despite the fact they're a man down at this moment in time. So Chow is going to change his shirt, and here's Ramsdale to launch a ball that's orange and spinning in the night sky at St James's Park, and it's headed away, and Hall will pick it up on halfway and goes back to Ramsdale again, and now Tonali, who's midway inside his own half on this occasion. And it's going to be picked up away to our right-hand side by Ramsdale, who again will go long. Little flick on that far side from Harvey Barnes. Chow is back out there. No need to utilise that sixth substitute just yet for Newcastle United, as you can hear Huge round of applause for Malik Chow as he returns to the field of play. Joe Linton trying to clip it forward. Here's Anthony Gordon. Lifts the ball over the top. Guimaraes just nods it into no man's land, and there was nobody there. Lewis Hall had a probably 10-15 yard run to make to try and catch up, which he did. But again, there just wasn't an opportunity to try and get on the end of that from Guimaraes, and I think Guimaraes quite frustrated by that.
Yeah, well, a very good header, I have to say, from Guimaraes, because he was stretching, he couldn't run onto it. It was over the top of his head. He was just looking for one of his teammates to be alongside him. So he's done the right thing. But I think, again, that run just came a little bit late. It was Lewis Hall, I think, on this occasion. It's a little bit flat. You can see there's tired legs out there. Players are just hoping that they get one big opportunity in this game, but be the player who makes the difference, who goes out and gets that winning goal.
11 and a half minutes played in the first period of extra time at St James's Park on Talksport 2. Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 2. Here's Joe Linton on that far side, gives it out wide to Miley. Miley then finds Guimaraes, right-footed, swings it over to Nali from close range. Tried to get the flick on it and couldn't quite divert it goalwards as it bounces down and beyond the right-hand post of Petrovic. And it's high fives all round for the defending there of Adam Smith, and it'll be a goal kick for Bournemouth.
It was very good from Adam Smith, because you could see that run coming in. It was a great ball in from Guimaraes. Tonali making that run, and just a little nudge before he got his head on it there. Tonali just took him away from that ball. Well, I think they've asked a couple of questions, Newcastle, in this first 15 minutes of added on time, extra time, I beg your pardon.
Here is in the centre circle Alex Scott working it to the right hand side. Jimenez is there, getting it forward and into the path of Truffert, and the challenge from Sven Botman is penalised by referee Thomas Bramall, and it will be a free kick for Bournemouth, about 15 yards, 20 yards maybe inside the Newcastle United half. We've only got 2 minutes of the first period of extra time to go, but given that Malik Chow was down for a couple of minutes within that, there will certainly be some added time at the end of this first period for sure. Finally, a decision's been made on who's going forward for Bournemouth. Smith thought he was going to take the free kick, but actually Lewis Cook, I think, is going to take it. And Smith's out there, and there's some confusion, and in the end they get it forward quickly to Evan Nilsson. Jimenez on this right hand side gets it across the 6 yard area, and it was bouncing across the entire width of Newcastle United's 6 yard box, and nobody was there to add a touch in a blue shirt, and it'll allow Newcastle to bring it clear from that far side with Joe Linton on this near touchline. Here's Gordon, got attention from Adam Smith, goes back towards halfway. Smith still going strong out there, 34 years of age, doesn't play too often. It's his 11th appearance of the campaign, and there's a foul there by Anthony Gordon, this time on James Hill. Referee Thomas Bramall indicating it was a swinging arm that was the issue, and it's a free kick for Bournemouth.
Yeah, another opportunity to put the ball in Newcastle's area, but quickly taken and very, very poor.
It was, and it allows Hall and Gordon to start an attack down this left-hand side. Gordon's just lost his footing just short of halfway, just as he was about to make inroads into Bournemouth territory. Ball switched to the right-hand side, where it's picked up by Chow. Far side Miley, infield to the skipper, Bruno Guimaraes, forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Here's Voltemada, slips the ball through. Barnes has made the run, no offside flag. They wanted it, did Bournemouth, and in the end, it's a goal kick as Barnes tries to go round Petrovic, but he couldn't do it and just pokes it out of play instead. Once more, that combination of Voltemada and Barnes almost paying off for Newcastle.
Well, I've just got a replay here, Adam. He's at least 2 foot, 3 foot offside. So they've got away with one there because the linesman didn't put his flag up. But when he did get himself into a position there, Harvey Barnes, can he take it away from the keeper and then lay one across the 6 yard area to Tonali? Because he's in acres of space. Nobody's tracked back from a Bournemouth perspective. Big chance.
2 minutes of added time at the end of this first half of extra time here at St James's Park on Talksport 2. Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 2. Guimaraes down that right hand side for Newcastle. On to Tonali. Off the angle of the box. Back to Bruno again at the edge of the penalty area. Voltemada just turns at the edge of the box. Inside he goes. Then to Lewis Miley across to Joe Linton, who heads it away from goal rather than towards goal. Lewis Hall's attempted cross is blocked out by Alex Scott, who looks absolutely out on his feet at the edge of that Bournemouth penalty area. It will be a throw on this left-hand side for Newcastle United. We've had 1 minute of the 2 added at the end of this first period of extra time. 2-2 it remains. FA Cup Game Day Live. Here's Botman. Through the middle he goes. Voltemada in close attention is Diakite. Voltemada, though, digs it out from under his feet. Tonali looks to pick it up off the toes of Tavernier, but Bournemouth have done well to keep possession, and they've done it with Alex Scott. Slips a lovely ball round the back. Jimenez inside the penalty, chance to shoot and score through the legs of Ramsdale, who makes an excellent save this time with the inside of his left thigh, and then there's a foul from Jimenez on Hall as he tried to bring it clear. And boy, did Newcastle need Ramsdale there. What an opportunity to Bournemouth to go ahead in this game.
Huge chance. Great ball from Alex Scott in behind, and Jimenez showed Lewis Hall a clean pair of heels. His pace was electric, and he's done everything right. He's kept it low, but it's a brilliant clearance. Great save.
Here's Miley on that right-hand side. Right-footed ball swung over towards the back post. In fact, it was Barnes. Here's Gordon. Gordon inside the penalty area, tries to get the shot, but in the end, he, at close range, just pulls it into the feet and the body of Adam Smith. And that's the 2 added minutes at the end of the first period of extra time. And another barnstorming 15 to come at St James's Park. Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 2.
As far as 15 minutes of extra time football goes in the FA Cup, I've got to say that is up there with ones that I've seen recently, particularly this weekend. We're just 15 minutes away from our second penalty shootout on FA Cup Game Day Live here on Talksport 2. Such a close game between 2 evenly matched sides. But Mickey Gray, you've got to say, you know, I know Jimenez had a great chance there for Bournemouth towards the end of that first 15, but Newcastle looking the most likely based on that first half in extra time. You know, Sven Botman had a great opportunity at the far post there.
Oh, massive opportunities, Max. But I think the 2 best chances, let's not forget, Evan Nielsen had one cleared off the line very early on in that first 15 minutes as well, and just right at the end of that first half of extra time, he's done brilliantly, Jimenez, to get away from Lewis Hall, and as he just pokes that ball towards a Newcastle goal, he's just hoping for a little bit of a ricochet, or maybe it goes underneath the goalkeeper Ramsdale. But Newcastle, these both sets of players have given absolutely everything. What a game. Look, it's not often you want an extra 30 minutes of football. Well, my knees and my feet don't agree with it, but I'm absolutely loving it.
Absolutely. So often, Adam, we see these sort of extra times just sort of play out, almost both teams waiting for the penalty shootout. It can't be said for these 2 teams.
No, absolutely not. The entire game, they've both just gone for it. They've tried to take their opportunities. They've thrown players forward. It's been end-to-end stuff. Yeah, it's been a thoroughly entertaining FA Cup third round tie. Couldn't have asked for any better, and that was even when at half time it was 0-0. It was a really good first half. They've all given it their all. The question is, are we going to dreaded penalties? I've drawn my grid now, so that probably means no. Usually when I draw the grid, that's the nail in the coffin that we're not getting one.
Well, you know, maybe just to trump the sort of traditional boring extra time penalties, let's hope that you're right. But see us through, boys. Adam Bridge, Mickey Gray, final second half of extra time, Newcastle Bournemouth.
And Newcastle will search for that winner, shooting towards the Gallagate away to our right-hand side, which is where, in stoppage time, Anthony Gordon dispatched a penalty into the bottom left-hand corner as we look at Petrovic's goal to set this tie into extra time, and we're off and running in the second period, and it's Gordon immediately trying to feed a ball through over the top in that left-hand inside channel for Joe Linton to chase after. He's done well. He's just holding off Diakite, goes back to Gordon. He's now got bodies to aim at in the box. One of those is Tonali, one is Voltemada. It kind of dropped between the 2 of them. Guimaraes picks up the loose ball. Lovely flick from Barnes. There's Guimaraes again at the edge of the penalty area, but it has to be cleared away by Alex Scott. And now the counter comes from Bournemouth and from Alex Jimenez down that right-hand side. He's gone into a more central position, feeds it out to the left. Tavernier's waiting. Truffert has gone outside him on the left-hand side at the byline, cuts it back across. Oh, scooped over the bar from a really dangerous position by Evan Nielsen at the edge of the 6-yard box. It was on his left foot, and he's hit the shot, and I think actually, if anything, it's gone out for a throw on this near side.
Yeah, it has, Adam, but what a move again from Bournemouth. Very quick counter-attack, and Jimenez showing great skill. My goodness, it's just a little bit behind Evan Nielsen, isn't it? He's kind of tracking back, it's on his left foot, he's leaning back, it's very difficult to get that shot on target. But the energy hasn't dropped, has it? Second half of extra time, absolutely incredible. Full credit to the players.
The worry for Newcastle is that Evan Nielsen was on his own.
Yeah.
There was nobody with him.
He was. I mean, look, if he knew he had as much time, he maybe could have had that touch just to compose himself a little bit, but the pressure is just... It's just mounting, isn't it, at the beginning of this final 15 minutes for Bournemouth against Newcastle.
Here's the throw from by the corner flag down this left-hand side. Hill gets it in. Voltemada's there at the near post to volley the ball away. Truffert down this left-hand side. He's under pressure from the German. However, the ball's held back by Smith to Petrovic, who right-footed launches it forward straight into touch on this near side, and it will end up being a throw-in to Newcastle United on this near touchline. Taken short by Miley into Joel Linton. Joel Linton making his 13th FA Cup appearance. It's been given away again by Newcastle. Edge of the box, right-hand side. Jimenez's cross, brilliant from Ramsdale. It was a little touch on it from Alex Scott, who then goes down, as does Ramsdale. But I think Scott actually fouled Ramsdale in the process there. It was Jimenez's ball in, and I think just an outstretched boot from Scott diverted it goalwards, and Ramsdale had to be alert.
Yeah, reactions yet again. Jimenez does really well again on that right-hand side. His ball into the area with that slight deflection, and Scott just pokes out a left foot. Doesn't quite get the pace on the shot that he needs to, but it's Joe Linton where it all started, giving the ball away.
Tonali to Voltemada. Here's Barnes in a central position, but just outstretches a right boot. He looks tired now, but Diakite was alert to the danger. 13 minutes played in this second period of extra time. 18 minutes played in total of the half an hour. So 12 still to go on Talksport 2. Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 2. No goals in extra time as yet in either of the games today. It remained 1-1 between Everton and Sunderland after their extra 30 minutes before Sunderland won the penalty shootout. What will be the outcome here in the northeast? On a cold evening. It's picked up on that far side by Scott again, and Hall tries to go forward. His run was blocked off by Hill. Voltemada has it on that far side. Now Gordon's running at pace, ball at feet. Good intervention again from Adam Smith. About 7 or 8 yards outside the penalty area on that left-hand side for Newcastle United. Infield to Lewis Hall, 35 yards out from goal. Gives it to Joel Linton. Joel Linton into the feet of Voltemada. Tries to turn at the edge of the penalty area. Now a chance for Lewis Miley to feed Barnes down this right-hand side. Miley's gone down the line. Barnes tries to lift across into the box. Tavernier will take it down inside the penalty area, and he'll get it clear for Bournemouth up to Evan Nielsen, who chests it down nicely. Now the support arrives from Jimenez on that right-hand side, who is ghosted past Hall. Jimenez still going here. He's got Scott in the penalty area. Right-footed from Scott straight at Ramsdale, who fumbles it, and then it's cleared away by Malik Chow, and out for a throw on this near side.
Oh, well, it's brilliant again. You know, Alex Jimenez has been outstanding since he came on. His pace is causing Lewis Hall all kinds of problems. Just skips away from him, plays a nice enough ball into Scott. Can he take a touch? Can he get closer towards that Newcastle goal? He's had 2 massive chances in his final 15 minutes.
2 balls on the pitch here as Evan Nielsen tries to cut that ball back across the penalty area. Truffert is there, an outstretched boot from Botman gets it clear from the edge of the penalty area. Newcastle under all sorts of pressure as that's hooked on. Evan Nielsen was in an offside position. Tavernier wasn't. He chases after it by the corner flag. Has support. Truffert's there again. Left-footed ball swung across over the top of Evan Nielsen. He couldn't get up for it. Voltemada will pick up the loose ball at the edge of his own penalty area. Out wide to the left-hand side to Anthony Gordon, who clips it forward for Tonali to chase into the left-hand channel. However, it's Diakite that's there to win it back for Bournemouth. We've had 5 minutes of the second period of extra time. It remains 2-2. Ramsdale's committed for this. He's trying to let it run and shepherd it out of play under pressure from Tavernier, and he does well this time. And we're going to see another change for Bournemouth, and we're going to see Remy Rees-Dottin coming on. He was a FA Cup substitute last season when they beat West Bromwich Albion in round 3. That was his senior debut, and he's coming on to replace Alex Scott now into the midfield for Bournemouth for these final just over 9 minutes that remain of extra time. You're listening to Talksport 2. We've got the FA Cup fully covered this weekend. All of the drama, all of the shocks. We've already brought you a couple of cracking commentaries on Talksport that saw Wrexham beat Forest on penalties last night. We saw Macclesfield beat Palace earlier on today over on Talksport at 5:45. So in 18 minutes time or so, we will bring you Spurs against Aston Villa. That'll be followed by Charlton against Chelsea. Liam Rosenior's first game in charge of Chelsea tonight, and it's at the Valley. That promises to have a few eyes on it as well in the circumstances. And then, of course, we've got more FA Cup ties for you throughout the day tomorrow as we bring you Derby against Leeds. That's a 12 o'clock kickoff tomorrow lunchtime. We bring you Portsmouth against Arsenal. That's a 2 o'clock start at 4:30. It's Manchester United against Brighton and Hove Albion. West Ham against Queen's Park Rangers as well. That's going to be on Talksport 2. West Ham desperate for a win. If anything smells of a cup shock, that could be it. And then Monday night, Liverpool against Barnsley. Before Tuesday night, we're back here again for Newcastle against Manchester City and the first leg of the League Cup semi-final. We have got your football covered all the way through until mid-July this year with the World Cup as well. All 104 games from North America will be live across the Talksport network too. But we've got plenty of business in the greatest cup competition in the world to do. First of all, this round 3 tie here has got 7.5 minutes of extra time to play. It remains Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 2. Gimaresh for Newcastle. Who's looking more likely at the minute, Mickey?
Well, every time you come to me, it feels like it's different because Bournemouth look like they're in the ascendancy as we're talking now. Newcastle are just gained possession themselves. But it's not like two sides are trying to see it out and get to penalties. Newcastle have certainly gone for it, but those big chances for Bournemouth in this final 15 minutes, both fallen to Alex Scott. You just wonder, have they had their opportunity to win this FA Cup tie, Bournemouth?
Or Gimaresh gets away towards the edge of the penalty area, lifts the ball towards the back post, looking for Anthony Gordon. It's nodded down. He was clever there, Gordon. He just peeled away to wait because he had 2 defenders and they have half cleared it. Here's Lewis Hall, left-footed ball across. Joe Linton puts a boot up to try and flick it. Can't get a connection. And Truffert on this near side will bring it out for Bournemouth up towards halfway. And here is the substitute. Reece Dottino's on the charge, but Miley will just step across the 19-year-old and does brilliantly and keeps the ball for Newcastle United. 6.5 minutes to go. Gimaresh, Voltemada on halfway. Here's Tonali. He's not stopped running all afternoon, Sandro Tonali. Across field it goes to Botman inside the centre circle. Out to the left-hand side is Lewis Hall. Patient stuff from Newcastle United. Those black and white striped shirts are all now pushed into the Bournemouth half of the field. They've still got it in the centre circle. Gimaresh onto Voltemada. He's got plenty of support around him. He goes forward again to Gimaresh, edge of the box, trying to work it out wide on that left-hand side to Anthony Gordon. But Adam Smith is there to intervene, even though he's got cramp. And you could tell by the way he was walking, it is cramp for Adam Smith, and Alex Jimenez will try and help him out.
Yeah, he straight away he went down to ground, didn't he? He's given absolutely everything, as every player has out there, to be honest with you. But, you know, one thing you cannot run off, Adam, is cramp. You know, you think you get back to your feet, you think you're going to be okay, but it just never goes away. The adrenaline that's running through the guys at the moment, because what they've put in, the effort's been absolutely outstanding. So, I don't know, what can Areola do here? You know, does he just leave him on as a body? Because I think they've made the changes, haven't they? So I don't think they can make any more changes. But this is an interesting one, isn't it, from a Bournemouth perspective? Is, you know, do you put him in midfield now and put somebody in that right back position? He actually looks okay, as if he has stretched it off and he's going to be all right for the remainder minutes of this game. But it's not a nice place to be. I've been in situations like that when you do get cramp, and it is horrible.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, we shall see what they do with him on that far side. He's not going to get any better, is he? I mean, that's the reality of it, for sure. And it's going to be a throw on that far side for Bournemouth. Evan Nilsson just gives the ball away. Gimaresh picks it up. We've got 3.5 minutes of added time to play. Here is Gimaresh, one of the Newcastle substitutes. Oh, Anthony Gordon's done well to whip that away. And that challenge from Alex Jimenez has given the free kick to Newcastle United. About 25 yards out from goal, just to the left of the edge of the D. And a chance for the Magpies.
Has to be Tonali on this occasion. Anthony Gordon, the player, going down to ground yet again, but we saw his free kick earlier on that went underneath the Bournemouth wall. I'm not quite sure that was what he planned, but you see Tonali, Gordon, and actually Lewis Hall is over there as well with that trusty left foot of his. But this could be a huge opportunity for Newcastle. I've seen Tonali take some free kicks since he's been here at this football club in a Newcastle shirt, and you know he's got the power and the whip. And you think about Petrovic's performance, he's made some decent enough saves, but he has flapped at a couple of things, and opportunities are running out now.
They are. This is about 25 yards out, maybe a little more. It's just rolled short to Tonali! What a strike! Wow. Power, but not quite the precision that was required this time, as it just fizzes over the crossbar.
Well, he's left nothing behind there, has he, Tonali? I thought he was going to take it directly, but it's been laid off to him and he gets his laces through it. Look, he's had 4 big chances. 3 have gone way over the top of the crossbar, but this one is about, a foot over? Absolute bullet of a strike, and fortunate for Bournemouth, goes over the top of that crossbar.
Well, he hasn't scored since May against Chelsea. Made the 3rd most appearances this season of any Newcastle United player. It's only FA Cup start actually prior to today. That came against Brighton in round 5 last season when they were defeated 2-1 here. And now, as we count down with 2.5 minutes remaining, he's gone close to putting Newcastle in front again. Here's Anthony Gordon lifting it towards the back post. Harvey Barnes! Would you believe it? It's Harvey Barnes once more for Newcastle United. On Wednesday night, he was the hero against Leeds United, and he's done it again today against Bournemouth with 2 minutes of extra time remaining. The deftest of headers from 6 yards out. The boy is in the form of his life. It's another double from Harvey Barnes, and Newcastle look like they're heading to round 4. Newcastle 3, Bournemouth 2.
Well, what a game of football we have witnessed today. From start to finish, it's been absolutely fantastic, and I want more of it. And unfortunately, there has to be a winner, because I think both sides have won today. But Harvey Barnes, he is in an incredible vein of form at the moment, but it's put on a plate from Anthony Gordon, who just curls a beautiful cross to the far post, and Barnes just leaps above his marker and nods it into the back of the net. Looked like we were heading for penalties at him, but what a finish, and what a week Harvey Barnes is having.
A 5th FA Cup career goal for Harvey Barnes, 11 for the season now. That's 4 in his last 2 games, having not scored for 9 prior. Harvey Barnes, you said it earlier, Mickey, when he's in form, he scores goals in little patches. Well, he's in that purple patch right now.
Well, you've got to say, look, if it comes down to numbers, scoring goals and assists, then you have to bring him into the conversation. I know Anthony Gordon's put the ball in for him on this occasion, and he's probably the same position in an England shirt.
Long one forward for Bournemouth towards the edge of the penalty area. Little shove there by Tonali on Lewis Cook near the edge of the box. It wasn't seen by Thomas Bramall. We're into the final minute of the 30 added. The extra time, how much will be coming after that? Rob Jones, the referee down below, knows. Thomas Bramall knows. Rob Jones has got the board in his hand. Probably at least a couple of minutes, I would have thought. Right-footed ball, Hill launches it into the Newcastle penalty area. It's flicked on that time by Truffert. Picked up on this near side by the new substitute Reece Dottin, and now Tonali will try and break down this right-hand side. He's got Voltemada in the middle. Can he find him? Was he going to the corner flag? He's going to the corner flag. And there's going to be 2 added minutes on the end of extra time here. Tonali's gone down, wanting a free kick. Referee says no. Senesi gives it to Petrovic. Tonali's still on the ground, level with the edge of his own penalty area, or level with the edge, should I say, of the Bournemouth penalty area away to our right-hand side. Here is Senesi, left-footed ball, clipped forward towards the edge of the box. It bounces once. Chow there to clear for Newcastle United. They're on the cusp of a place in round 4, and for the first time in almost 14 years, beating a Premier League side in round 3 of the FA Cup. Here is that man, Barnes, down this near side. Throw taken quickly by Bournemouth, much to the annoyance of those around us who felt it should be a throw to Newcastle United. We've had a minute of the 2 added at the end of extra time. Newcastle 3, Bournemouth 2. On that right-hand side, ball slipped through. Tavernier's on the charge. Ramsdale's come out. It's in. It's in. Tavernier for Bournemouth in added time at the end of extra time. A deft finish beyond the advancing Ramsdale, and Bournemouth have pulled it round. It's 3-3 in the final minute of added time. Would you believe it? Ramsdale culpable again, but Tavernier with a finish. And maybe after all, we are heading to spot kicks. Newcastle 3, Bournemouth 3.
This is just absolutely incredible. You can't catch your breath. But Aaron Ramsdale, what are you doing? Look, it's a great ball down the side, and Tavernier, to his credit, shrugs off his marker and wants to get on the end of that. But if you're a goalkeeper and you're coming off your line, you have got to be 100% sure that you're going to win the ball. He makes himself big, but he knows he's just not going to get there. And Tavernier just pokes in his left foot and rolls the ball into the back of the net. What an absolutely incredible game of football we have witnessed here today.
And what is it about Bournemouth when it comes to Newcastle? 6 games unbeaten, and they're going to go through 120 minutes here without being beaten also, it would seem. Here's Tonali. We are now into added time at the end of added time at the end of extra time. We've been here that long. It's almost Sunday, in fact, at St James's Park. It's Newcastle 3, Bournemouth 3. Ramsdale, right-footed, up towards halfway. Surely there's only moments remaining here. Trufair will clear. Oh, he's giving it away to Tonali. Voltemada's there. Anthony Gordon's making a run down the left. It's Harvey Barnes out on the right-hand side. Only ball across Anthony Gordon! Edge of the 6-yard area. How on earth has he not scored to make that 4-3? There is the full-time whistle on that far side. Well, what a game of football. Gordon should have won it at the end, but we're going to penalty kicks. It's Newcastle 3, Bournemouth 3, and the drama of penalties in round 3 of the FA Cup coming next on Talksport 2.
King of football commentary.
FA Cup Game Day
on Talksport 2.
New year means a new round of speculation, signings and spending sprees. As the 2026 trading season kicks off, stay ahead with all the deals for the central transfer window updates on Talksport.
And they have been made to pay.
Plus, get the inside track on everything from the club moves worth knowing to where the mega money's going in one unbeatable transfer news roundup with White and Jordan every morning from 10. You can't get closer than transfer window updates on Talksport with Intuit QuickBooks. Tackle your self-assessment with Intuit QuickBooks. Search QuickBooks to find out more.
Yorkshire tea, where everything's done proper. Yorkshire tea, brew strength made at your own discretion. Boiled water not included, or mugs. Milk in second, always. For exceptions visit no chance. Not ever, ever. Best stirred clockwise, except on Tuesdays. Can accept no responsibility for squeezed tea bags left on countertop. Refer to box for details. Best stirred with a spoon, not your finger. May be enjoyed outside Yorkshire. Sheep on front of box not included. Nor is small cottage, nor is Sky. We don't know what the cricket score was. For best results, drink. May contain hot liquid. Whew. Blimey.
People are tuning into radio more than ever. Advertise here and get your message heard by up to 6.5 million switched on listeners every week. Email radio@news.co.uk.
Hi, just leaving work now. Sorry it's a bit loud. Basically, so I was thinking we could get Mackey's tonight. Had a Big Mac on my mind all day, and delivery fee on the app is now from 99p. So, you in? Of course you are. Ha, love you. Bye.
Exclusively on the McDonald's app. 18 plus. Service fee and small order fee may apply. Participating restaurants. Serving times and T's and C's apply.
It's the last chance to get yourself a ticket for tonight's Lotto draw.
It could be you.
Lotto from the National Lottery. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
I'm Professor Huggington, and I like to...
When your kid's favourite toy starts to run out of battery power, no need to worry. Your new batteries are already on their way, arriving today with Amazon Prime. Same-day delivery, it's on Prime.
I'm Professor Huggington, and I like to hug.
Geographic restrictions, cut-off times and T's and C's apply. Details on product page.
Right, that's it. Come on, lights out. You've got a test tomorrow.
Just 2 minutes. I'm about to reach the next level.
It's going off now.
Yeah, whatever.
Let's see, where's the app? Oh, here it is. Ha.
What? How?
Oh, no, you're out. Better luck next time.
Mom!
It's game over for late nights on school nights. EE Wi-Fi controls help you get them off the Wi-Fi and into bed.
More parents are choosing EE Broadband, the UK's fastest growing broadband provider.
To verify, see ee.co.uk/claims.
Which business insurance provider is trusted by nearly 1 million customers? Take it away, Gina.
Simply Business.
From builders to bakers to beauticians, if you need business insurance, join nearly 1 million customers who trust Simply Business. So search Simply Business today.
Simply Business.
That's enough, Gina. T's and C's and acceptance criteria apply. UK only.
King of football commentary.
FA Cup Game Day
on Talksport 2.
Well, sometimes Premier League clubs are criticised for not prioritising the FA Cup early stages. We're here in the third round, and this cannot be said for Newcastle and Bournemouth. What an absolute belter of a game this has been. Macclesfield will rightly steal the headlines for beating Palace earlier in the early kick-off on Talksport. Manchester City might have put 10 past Exeter, but we've been treated to a fantastic game of football here on Talksport 2. 13 goals at St James's Park in the last two games. It's ended 3-3 after extra time. We're going to head back now to our commentary team of Mickey Gray and Adam Bridge. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if this was 2019 on penalties.
Thanks very much for Max. I'm not sure we've got enough paper to cover that one off, but we'll try. It's going to be Aaron Ramsdale. In fact, it's going to be Newcastle who will take first. And as Mickey said, they wanted the Gallagate. It's not the Gallagate, is it, Mickey?
No, it's definitely not. Opposite ends, Anthony Gordon stepping up. And we talked about that record of Newcastle players scoring at St James's Park. Somebody will miss a penalty today, surely, for them, Adam.
Possibly. Right, it's going to be Gordon against Petrovic. We've seen this once already in added time at the end of normal time. Gordon, though, to take first for Newcastle United in the shootout away to our left-hand side. Petrovic stands still. Gordon steps up, picks the same corner again. Petrovic dives the wrong way, and Newcastle have the advantage.
Yeah, wonderful penalty from Anthony Gordon. Very similar to his penalty in game time. Just picked his spot, got a lot of pace behind it, made his decision and finished it with aplomb.
Marcus Tavernier will step forward for Bournemouth, the man who equalised in added time at the end of extra time to take this game to 3-3. Ramsdale has saved 5 penalties in his career. The last 2 of those in the Premier League were with Southampton last season. Marco Asensio from Aston Villa was the 2 spot kicks he saved. Let's see what Tavernier can do. It's going to be left-footed. He's got a slightly slanted run here. Ramsdale on his spot in the middle of the goal, dives the right way, but the power gets it into the bottom corner, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, deserved that, Marcus Tavernier. He was a player who got that third and equalising goal just before full-time whistle. Again, very confident with his left foot, just kept it low, and the pace beat Ramsdale into that bottom corner.
Nick Voltemada has already scored 1 spot kick this season for Newcastle United in the Premier League. He steps forward, started the game in the number 10 role, finished it as the out-and-out striker without really troubling the keeper once today. Voltemada, hands on hips, this will be right-footed. He'll take on Petrovic, who saved 8 in his career, but not since the MLS. Steps up, right-footed, he's hit the crossbar. Sent to the crossbar, bounces back down, and the first miss is Newcastle's, and it's Voltemada.
Well, just looking at that run-up, Adam, and I know we see it every single week, different players have got different run-ups, but hands on hips, didn't really look confident as he was stepping up to take that penalty. Looks great if it goes in underneath the crossbar, but unfortunately for Voltemada, he's the first player to miss.
Evan Nilsson will step forward for Bournemouth to give them a 2-1 advantage potentially in this shootout. Evan Nilsson, who came on during the first half, he was started on the bench today, but after the injury to Enis Unal, steps out right-footed, saved by Ramsdale, low to his left-hand side, and it remains 1-1 after 2 spot kicks each as we welcome listeners from Talksport. Voltemada missed the second kick for Newcastle. He hit the crossbar, and then Ramsdale, low down to his left-hand side, has just saved Evan Nilsson's spot kick. Bruno Guimaraes will step forward. Mickey Gray is alongside.
Yeah, I mean, Evan, it's the 2 players who've actually stepped up the ball with a slow run-up. They're the players that have missed, but that was a fantastic save, I have to say, from Aaron Ramsdale.
Bruno Guimaraes for Newcastle United, a second-half substitute, came on when they were 2-1 down to try and help rescue a game. He helped rescue the game, Gordon, with that spot kick to make it 2-2. Then Barnes thought he'd won it in the 28th minute of extra time before Tavernier slid in with the equaliser in stoppage time at the end of extra time. Here's Guimaraes against Petrovic, right-footed. He sends the keeper the right way. The keeper saved it. Low down to his right-hand side. Casual penalty from Guimaraes. Petrovic guessed the right way, and Newcastle have missed 2 in a row. They've scored 1 of their 3. Bournemouth now with a chance to make it 2-1.
Yeah, it was a perfect height, wasn't it? Bruno Guimaraes' penalty there for Petrovic. And if you judge the right way, because it was there, the goalkeeper's always going to make that save. And Petrovic, right place, right time. Simple save for him, I have to say.
Well, these two sides met in the first ever televised penalty shootout in the FA Cup. That was way back in 91-92. They're at it again here. And it's Lewis Cook this time against Aaron Ramsdale. Right-footed. Oh, and he got his hands to it. It was low. It was a poor penalty. But Ramsdale couldn't keep it out. And it is advantage Bournemouth after three spot kicks. They lead 2-1.
Well, Lewis Cook with a right smile on his face there, because he thought the goalkeeper was going the wrong way, and Ramsdale just shuffled across to his left-hand side. It wasn't the greatest penalty in the world, I have to say, but it's found its way into the back of the net to give Bournemouth the advantage.
Tonali, he really needs to score this, or Bournemouth would then step forward with a chance to win the tie. An enthralling afternoon of FA Cup action in this third round tie. Of course, coming up, the game between Tottenham against Villa, then later on for you as well, we've got Charlton against Chelsea. The drama does not stop. But here's Sandro Tonali. Direct run-up, steps a couple of times to his left-hand side. Right-footed, sends it into the corner. Petrovic dived low to his right. It was the right way, but the power was enough from the Italian. And it's 2-2 with Bournemouth set to take their fourth.
Yeah, do you know, there's certain players who you'd like to score, and I think Tonali's performance today deserved to put that ball in the back of the net, Adam. He was absolutely outstanding today for Newcastle from start to finish, he really was. But Bournemouth, this is a massive opportunity for Jimenez to win this tie for Bournemouth. You see, he looks quite confident stepping up to that penalty spot. Done very well when he came on the pitch today.
Well, this would give him a 3-2 lead with one more spot kick to go after this for each side. Jimenez on loan from Milan. First FA Cup appearance, first taste of FA Cup football here at St James's Park. He steps back 3 or 4 paces. Ramsdale just rubs his gloves in preparation. Away to our left-hand side. Right-footed, steps forward, drills it, save! Ramsdale gets right. Low down to his right-hand side. He makes the save. And it's 2-2 after 4 spot kicks each.
Well, nobody wants to win this tie. 2 misses each from both sides. We've had some very good penalties, but we've also had some poor penalties. Jimenez, no thought in that whatsoever. Just got his laces through it, hoping he was going to find the back of the net. And Ramsdale, super save again from him.
He's saved 2 now, Ramsdale. The pressure moves to Joe Linton. The final regulation spot kick for Newcastle United. Scored in midweek, of course, in that win against Leeds when they come from behind for the first time in the Premier League this season to secure points. They've come from behind again here today. Can Joe Linton score? Sends the keeper the wrong way. He goes low to his right, does Petrovic. Joe Linton goes to the left. And it's 3-2 to Newcastle, and all the pressure now is on Senesi, who steps forward. Marcos Senesi, the Argentinian, hasn't scored a goal since April 2024, and now it's his penalty that could send us into additional spot kicks here.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, it's sudden death now, isn't it, Adam? Every player is stepping up to that penalty spot, and they have to score. That's what it's all about now. Senesi is taking his time, putting that ball on the penalty spot, taking real care. Just see Joe Linton have a little conversation before he actually stepped up. Bit cheeky.
Yeah, it was from Joe Linton. But Senesi will go left-footed this time. And he steps forward, left-footed, sends Ramsdale the wrong way. He goes low to his left. And it's in the bottom corner. And it's 3 apiece after 5 spot kicks each. Now we're into the players that weren't that keen on taking them.
Yeah.
And first of all, it's going to be Lewis Hall.
This is the players that did not want to take a penalty. Been in this situation myself, obviously, and Senesi certainly quietened the crowd there, didn't he? It was a super penalty with his left foot, just slotted in the bottom corner, but another lefty stepping up for this one.
Who better to have alongside me for a penalty shootout than a man who knows all about them, Mickey, that's for sure. We'll take you back to Tottenham against Villa shortly, of course. It's still 0-0. Here's Lewis Hall, left-footed, hand to it from Petrovic, but he just palms it into the roof of the net. And the advantage is with Newcastle. They lead by 4 penalties to 3.
Well, as that penalty was being taken at him, I'd just seen the Bournemouth players all huddled around each other saying, right, who wants the next one? As if they hadn't made a decision. Absolutely crazy.
Young James Hill, 23 years of age, signed from Fleetwood previously. 6th FA Cup appearance for him today. He was excellent during the 120 minutes for Bournemouth, but now the pressure is on him. We are in sudden death here. He needs to score to keep Bournemouth in the FA Cup. And the referee not happy with where he's put the ball down. Stamp of the turf. Can Aaron Ramsdale make a third save and put Newcastle into round 4? Up steps Hill, right-footed, and he gets a hand up again. But this time it is in the back of the net, and we continue. It's 4 apiece. A reminder, it's still 0-0 between Spurs and Villa. We'll take you back to that game on Talksport shortly, once we're done here in the shootout at St James's Park. And it was Lewis Hall last time. It's Lewis Miley now for Newcastle.
Yes, it is, yeah. Local lad, Lewis Miley. He's done obviously brilliant since he broke into the Newcastle team. Great vein of form at the moment, but always that little bit more pressure on you. This is his club. He will want to put this in the back of the net.
It's a man for the big occasions so far, and he sends Petrovic the wrong way. He goes low to his right. It's an excellent penalty, midway up to the left-hand side of the goal. Miley does the job, and Newcastle have the advantage. They lead 5-4, and Adrien Truffert, one of the second-half substitutes for Bournemouth, will now step forward for Areola's side.
Yeah, it's pressure on every single player now. As I mentioned before, once you go past number 5, none of these players wanted to step up to take a penalty. Great one from Lewis Miley, I have to say. No pressure on it whatsoever when he fired it into the back of the net.
It's been a thoroughly entertaining game, and the drama continues. Ramsdale doesn't move this time. He thinks he might go down the middle, but Truffert sends it into the bottom corner. And we do continue. It's 5 apiece.
Yeah, Harvey Barnes just stepping up there. Truffert, wonderful penalty from him. Harvey Barnes obviously got himself on the score sheet in the game itself, and as you said, he's in a vein of form at the moment. You would have thought he'd have been one of the top 5.
Well, confidence wise, you would feel he's absolutely full of it. I mean, the record of Newcastle's shootouts is not great. They've lost 9 of their last 14. Here's Barnes stepping forward, right-footed, sent in the wrong way. It was a big dive to the left from Petrovic. Barnes went to the goalkeeper's right-hand side, and Newcastle keep themselves ahead. They now lead by 6 penalties to 5, and forward comes the experienced Adam Smith. And you have to say, they've won their last 5 penalty shootouts in all competitions, Bournemouth. They're full of confidence when it comes to spot kicks. And Adam Smith, with a very calm head on those old shoulders, he will now be the man responsible for testing out Ramsdale.
Yeah, nobody wants to go home tonight, do they? There's not one empty seat in St James's Park, and the pressure now lies on Adam Smith.
The home fans behind the goal waving their arms in the air. They're waving flags, everything to try and put Adam Smith off. But from 12 yards against Ramsdale, he gets it into the bottom corner. Ramsdale went the right side and was in with a whisker of making the save, but he doesn't. It's in, and we go on.
Well, we're not far away from both keepers taking a penalty here, are we? Malik Thiaw, I think, is it? Stepping up to take it for Newcastle now.
He is 6-6 here. It's still 0-0 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We will be heading back there shortly once this penalty shootout is done for the game between Spurs and Villa. Reminder, after that, it's Charlton against Chelsea as well tonight on Talksport, as the magic of this FA Cup third round continues. We're in a shootout at St James's Park. Newcastle against Bournemouth, and Newcastle have scored again, and they make it 7-6. That was penalty number 9, and that was Malik Thiaw.
Really cool for Malik Thiaw. Yeah, picked his spot, waited for the keeper to move. The little jink just before he stepped up to take that penalty. No one wants to miss anymore, Adam. We're here all night.
Bafode Diakite is the player that steps forward for Bournemouth. There's a word from Petrovic at the edge of the penalty area to him, and a pat on the back as he steps forward again. Another who's tasting FA Cup football for the first time, and his first taste of it is a penalty shootout where Newcastle lead 7-6. Diakite to keep Bournemouth in the FA Cup. Right-footed, forward he goes, saved by Aaron Ramsdale. It's Ramsdale. He made the errors during the normal game, but he's the hero of the shootout. It's his third penalty save, low to his right-hand side, that puts Newcastle United into round 4. The first time they've beaten a top-flight side in round 3 for 14 years. It was Blackburn back in 2011-2012. It's Bournemouth today. The shootout is won by Newcastle United after it finished 3-3. They've won here by 7 penalties to 6.
This was meant to be a 5-hour show. A 5-hour show. It's turned into a 6-hour show, but we don't care. We absolutely love it. The drama and excitement did not stop. Strong but goalless first half, and then from the moment that second half got underway, it's been a classic to-in and fro-in in a fixture that's a credit to both clubs, a barnstormer, and of course it had to go to sudden death penalties. It's difficult to say it, because it's difficult to say that Newcastle deserve it. If Bournemouth would have won, it would have been difficult to say that they deserve it. It's such a credit to both clubs. Mickey Gray, how do you sum that one up?
Can we have another 6 hours, Max? I've absolutely loved it. What a game of football we had. The 90 minutes was excellent. The extra time was fantastic. The penalties had drama, had a bit of everything. And Aaron Ramsdale now is going to be the hero for Newcastle. He made the 3 saves, the important saves in the penalty shootout to see Newcastle through to the 4th round. But as I'm speaking to you now, these Bournemouth players, heads down, coming off the pitch, they didn't deserve to be a side going out of this competition today that we've witnessed today. It was absolutely enthralling. I've absolutely loved it today. And I feel for Bournemouth, I feel for Iraola and his players. They've given absolutely everything. But full credit to Newcastle. They dug in deep, and they had to dig in deep. And when it came down to those penalty shootouts, look, no one wants to take one after the number 5's gone. But players stepped up. Hill, Truffet, Smith, Diakite, the player to miss as well for Bournemouth, which is a real shame. But Chiao, Barnes, Miley and Hall, the Newcastle players, after the 5 were taken, they were the players who stepped up and put the ball in the back of the net. What do you say after a game like that? Can I come again tomorrow, please?
Absolutely, you're more than welcome, Mickey Gray. I guess, look, the consolation for Andoni Iraola and Bournemouth is, despite the fact that they've lost their main man, Antoine Semenyo, they've made a real good showing of themselves. And although recently, in the past 12 games in the Premier League, they've slid down, you've got to think that this performance just shows what they're made of, the sort of heart, soul, commitment of this team. You think that they can really bounce back from this and go well in the Premier League. But for Newcastle, Mickey, what an important result. They've been sort of consistently inconsistent in the Premier League, and we saw how important Cup silverware was for them and that city last year. And they must be going on thinking, you know, in the FA Cup, we can go on a deep run and try and create more history yet again this year.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, Max, I mean, it's a big game for Newcastle to win today. They've got momentum, haven't they? They've won the last 3 Premier League games. They wanted to keep that going. You know, the positive things are, yes, they're in the next round and they played a brilliant game here today. But the negatives, I suppose, is he's brought on players today that he didn't probably want to bring on. He wanted to keep them fresh for the Man City game in midweek. But they're the holders of the League Cup. But this was about the FA Cup today. And you're right, Newcastle should want to go far in this competition. It's a great competition. They've won it 6 times before, but a long time ago. And this was the start. 3rd round. It was absolutely brilliant. And Eddie Howe will be thrilled to pieces. Yes, they picked up some niggly injuries today. Defensively, yet again, with Livramento picking up that hamstring problem. But I just hope that they're all fit, fresh and healthy for that game against Man City in midweek, because that, again, is going to be an absolute cracker.
Yeah, absolutely. They're defending their EFL Cup title. But A top game, a barnstormer. Both clubs deserve huge credit. Adam, I've got to ask, top flight teams are often criticised maybe for a lack of application in the FA Cup. Even from some quarters in the media, some pundits criticising the quality of the Premier League season. But this was a brilliant game. Where does it rank for you in terms of games you've commentated on this season?
Oh, listen, it's probably like, if it's not the best of this campaign. I have been quite lucky. I did get to do Wrexham 5, Sheffield United 3, which was a bit of a belter on Boxing Day. But this is just... I mean, look, both teams went for it. And you could have excused Newcastle for not going for it. They're up to 6 in the Premier League. They've got that game on Tuesday night against Man City. They've got all the injuries. He could have put more of those youngsters in. Other managers would have done that. But I think Eddie Howe knows what these cup competitions mean to the people of Newcastle, and having had that success last season, being in the semi-finals of the League Cup this time round, he knows if you don't turn up here and put your best players out there and give it everything you've got, you're on a hiding to nothing. And I think the attitude and application of them all tonight was sensational. Bournemouth did not give up. It would be really easy when you've lost Semenyo, who's 9 goals, 3 assists and everything else he's offered to your team this season, to have lost him and see Bournemouth come out there tonight. Adley, his replacement, was excellent. Brooks was excellent. It was just a cracking cup tie. And the point is, you don't get this anywhere else. These are two Premier League teams who know each other, face each other at least twice a season, week in, week out. They've played out a 0-0 already this season. But when it comes to the FA Cup, it is magical, and it brings out the very best in all of them.
You're absolutely right. It has been a stunning return of the 145th edition of the third round of the FA Cup. We started last night live on Talksport. Wrexham upsetting the apple cart, beating Nottingham Forest on penalties. We've had Macclesfield live on Talksport knock out the current FA Cup holders in Crystal Palace. Man City have put 10 past Exeter, for crying out loud, and we've been treated to a stunning game of football as Newcastle beat Bournemouth on penalties. We might have finished here on our 6-hour show, but it's the action still continues over on Talksport 2. It's Spurs Aston Villa, commentary from Joe Shannon and former Newcastle manager Alan Pardew before Chelsea travel to Charlton for the first time under Liam Rosenior. That gets underway 8 o'clock on Talksport. I've been your host, Max Scott. It's been a wonderful day of third round FA Cup action, but up next it's the very best of our top cricketing podcast, The Following On.